Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon Show. I am Tim Dillon. Week 3 of quarantine, I believe, right? Week 3. We're in week 3 of quarantine in the United States of America. Most states now have stay-at-home orders. Non-essential business closed in most of the country. There has never been a time when every piece of news has been equally horrifying. There's never been a time when every article, every click, everything that you see is as nightmarish as every other thing that you see. It is a wave. It's like if you've ever been to a beach and you get knocked down by a wave and you keep trying to get up and you keep getting knocked down and then you're just laying there in the surf. That's what this is. I mean, this is an amazing period of time. I mean, and the media makes it worse. I mean, it's bad. It's undeniably bad. In fact, it's so bad, the only joy you have is calling people and telling them that they don't know how bad it really is. That's the only bright part of your day, is calling someone in the morning and letting them know that they don't even know how fucked they are. You get those calls every day. We all compete to deliver the bad news. We're all like Paul Revere, except we're not riding through the night on a horse. We're sitting on our couch watching Netflix. And then every morning we pick up our phone and call somebody and you go, oh, boy. You got to see, listen, this quarantine's not ending. There's going to be chips in our arm. It's, we're not going back to work anytime soon. Kids aren't going to school in the fall. College is getting pushed back. You're never going to eat out in a restaurant again. Everybody you know is dead. You are dying. You only have one lung working right now. You're like, I feel kind of good. Shut up. You don't know how fucked you are. That's the only bit of joy we have. You get giddy. You get giddy. You get giddy. And I like to call people, because most people I know now have resigned themselves to the fate that this is going to be a long, hard slog, as Donald Rumsfeld would say. But every now and then you'll catch somebody with a little hope, with a little spark of hope. And you get excited because you know you're about to crush it. Because you know you're about to extinguish their tiny amount of hope. They go, yeah, man. They go, it'll probably start opening up in the summer. And you go, oh, you ignorant piece of shit. You know nothing. Have you not read anything? 30% unemployment, massive bank failures, a rise in homelessness. The pandemic will never end. They go, I guess. What's going to change between now and July? Tell me. I don't know, nothing, I guess. Yeah. You hear them sink a little bit lower, and then you go, all right, talk soon. Beep. It's the only joy you have now is bringing people down. And then sometimes it's fun to lift them up a little, because you got to lift them back up to crush them again. So I call people every other day and do good cop, bad cop. So yesterday I called everybody, told them quarantine was going till August. They're pushing school back in September. Comedy clubs will never reopen. They all had to get new jobs. And that, we're going to see millions of deaths. And today I called them with good news. I cherry-picked some positive news, which there's very little of, by the way. So it's a real, and then I lifted them up a little bit. And I like to confuse them. They don't know where I'm coming from. They don't know where I'm going with it. Because sometimes I like to because sometimes I'll be real down, and then they'll be real down, but then I want to go motivational. And I go, but here's what you got to realize. But my motivational is different than because this is what I was doing today. I was telling people, I was going, listen, we're going to be okay, and I'll tell you why. And they go, why? Because they're in New York. I mean, they're shut in. New York is America's Italy right now. They're singing in the streets. I mean, it's wild. You know what I mean? And as a New Yorker, as a guy that grew up in New York, it's fucking wild to watch, from L.A., not there. I'm not there. And, Like my friend was like, she's like, everyone there's in LA is such a narcissist. She's like, I'm glad I'm in New York. I'd rather experience this with New Yorkers. And I'm like, well, good for you. She goes, that's where we differ. I said, indeed. Absolutely. I'm glad we've identified that divergence of opinion. But I was saying today, I said, the American economy is going to get back on track because Americans don't put any value on human life, their own or others. And that is a good thing. It is a good thing that we are a deeply suicidal country with a death wish. It is a good thing that we arm ourselves to the teeth and sit in our little survival bunkers waiting to be allowed out so we can go walk our fat asses onto a cruise like nothing ever happened. It's gonna happen again. Those boats will be full. People are gonna be back in Applebee's putting quesadillas in their ass because that's what we're about. They're gonna be back to friendly fire incidents in their home. Their 4-year-old's going to find the gun they bought for the pandemic, and he's going to blow their brains out with it. Don't worry about it. Thank God. Thank God we have a country of people who truly don't care what happens next, because that's the only thing that's going to save us. Europe is fucked. They're going to sit at home and ponder. We're going to go right the fuck out as soon as we can, get drunk, and crash our cars. Don't worry. Tow trucks will be working. You're going to be working. Geico's back in business. As soon as we can get back in our cars and hit someone, we're going to do it. As soon as we are allowed out, we're going to cause some problems. We're going to cause some bodily harm. And that's what we're about. That's the only reason I am hopeful. I don't trust the government. I don't trust the private sector. The only thing we have left is science. Truly. I mean, the only way out of this is a vaccine or an antiviral drug. Like maybe this chloroquine helps that they're giving to people alongside erythromycin, which is the drug from a Z-Pack that you take for bronchitis. Maybe that gets approved as an official treatment. It did in France. Maybe that helps. Maybe there's another antiviral. That is it. The public policy solutions here are not going to please anybody. There are no good solutions. There are waves of this pandemic. There's waves of the virus. You let people back out, the numbers will spike. The numbers spike, the hospitals suffer. You don't let people back out, the economy crumbles. There's no way out. As Thomas Sowell said, no solutions, only trade-offs here. And no good trade-offs either. I mean, it's just, you got to decide at one point what is the more destructive path. But you're worrying, you're waiting for science. You're waiting for a guy in a lab coat that's a hell of a lot smarter than me or anyone I know who's fucking feverishly working on a vaccine for this, because God help you if you think Donald Trump or Joe Biden is going to figure a way to put the world back together. It's not going to happen in the short term or the long term. Your best hope is science, and science takes a while. That's why everybody's freaked the fuck out. The average length of time that it takes to get a vaccine going is 15 to 18 months. That's not terribly encouraging. That's what most experts are saying. And until we get that, most articles that are dribbling out now are preparing people for a longer haul than they originally were. They're saying that life is not going to go back to normal until we have the ability to prevent people from being hospitalized. So that could be done with a vaccine, or that could be done with an antiviral that somehow prevents hospitalization. So that it becomes what people said it was, a bad flu. For those 20% of people that would have been hospitalized, it becomes what it is for those 80% of people, a bad flu. And again, this is all as of Friday, April 2nd, 3rd.
It's the 3rd.
Yeah, Friday, April 3rd. April 4th, we could have an entirely new, that's what's great. You could wake up on April 4th and they could go, oh, by the way, Remember how we told everyone to wear masks? Now everyone should wear hazmat suits if you leave your home. So please put on the hazmat suit before you go to the grocery store. And everybody's going to walk around looking like astronauts. Why the fuck do I have to wear a mask if I'm alone walking around an area that I'm too poor to live in, which is what I do every day? I walk around Beverly Hills alone. I don't talk to anyone. Nobody talks to me. It's LA. Nobody spoke to each other pre-pandemic. We leave each other alone. Why? I'm not 6 feet from anyone. Why do I have to wear a mask? Is the virus just sitting around in the air? Stop. If it was truly airborne, everyone would have it. Stop it. I get it if you're going to go to a grocery store, if you're going to have an interaction with somebody. But I'm certainly not wearing a fucking mask to walk down the street if I'm not near anybody. I understand in New York, everybody's next to you. I get it, you know? I'm just asking the media to give us a minute. Give us a minute. Not every story, like the media is now, like the stories are like, transgender surgeries are being put off because of the, it's like, okay, can you give us a minute here? Abortions are not being provided. That is sad. But can you give us a minute with it? Do you have to unearth every negative thing that's happening now? Don't we have enough? Every human interest story, and I get that these are stories that need to be told. Do we have to tell them all at once? Do we have to tell them all at once? At least we waited till the towers fell in 9/11 before we started printing up the stories of the dead. Deborah was a mother of 6. Her lung collapsed. It's like, oh my God, it's bad. I know. If the people are still playing Frisbee, shoot them. If they're not taking it seriously, shoot them, I guess. I don't know. But to stop writing these stories. You're trying to guilt people to stay in, but they're not going to do it. The NYPD, the LAPD, they shoot people for a lot less than this. I'm not saying if you're jogging or walking, but if you're in a park with a lot of people, I don't know. Shoot them. You don't have to kill them. Rubber bullets. Gas them. Tear gas. What do we I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know, there's no good options is what I'm saying here. You know, I don't want a tyrannical government, but I'm just saying, if I saw a bunch of fucking TikTok kids in LA getting tear gassed, I might smile a little bit. I mean, you know, what are we waiting for? Everybody's sending me these conspiracy things about Agenda 401 or the Bill Gates thing and whatever. It's like, guys, if they did it, if they released the virus, then it's like, if they're willing to do that, do you even want to know? At that point, just buy some heroin and get ready to meet what's on the other end of this. I mean, guys, at a certain point, what does uncovering the truth even fucking do for you? I don't personally believe they did this because I think they would rather us making money at our shit jobs and sitting in the house while the world economy collapses. But if they did, and this is some way to wipe the slate clean, and they're willing to do this, well, then what the fuck? I mean, at a certain point, you got to fucking roll over, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. If Bill Gates released this virus, I mean, what are you going to do? You know? What are you going to do? Tweet about it? I mean, you know, at that point, do you have a militia? You ready to go? What, you got a few guns in the back? You shoot at your tree in Georgia? I mean, I don't know. If these people really did that, then I tend to believe there was probably some accident. It was probably a Chinese bioweapon. It probably leaked out of that lab in Wuhan. I don't know how it did. Maybe they were selling bats. Maybe they're selling animals that they experimented on. That seems the most probable thing. Is it weird that it happened during the Hong Kong protest? Yes. But I also think that, potentially, China didn't have any problem shooting tear gas at those protesters. China didn't have any issue doing that. So, I mean, is it impossible to say that they released it to get rid of the? No, but I don't know that they did. It could have happened, and again, did China release this to just say, fuck it, let's see what happens? Who knows? I don't know. You don't know. But so as Ray Kump said, I was talking to him today, it's like, so what's the plan? Go to the beach? Like, what are we all supposed to do? Infect everybody that we know? Is that the move? Even if we know it's a bioweapon, is the move to just go out and all get sick and that a lot of people die? That doesn't seem logical. Well, it's a bioweapon from China. So what? You still have to protect yourself, your family, to a degree. You have to be ethical, I have a friend that was going to fly to New York to visit his girlfriend. I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? Dude, what are you doing? This is The Stand, the Stephen King miniseries on TV that my father allowed me to watch because he allowed me to watch most things in the 90s. That was his style of parenting. He said, if you want to watch it, you can watch it. The movie Seven? Sure. Not a problem. Whatever you want to watch. You want to watch Dead Man Walking? You want to see Sean Penn get lethal injection? What are you, 7? You'll enjoy this. Come on. It's playing up the block. I don't want to pay for a babysitter. I want to go watch Casino. You ever seen someone get buried alive? You're about to. Handle it. Handle it like a man. That's a great thing about boomers who had one kid. The only kid houses. We would go out with our parents to dinner with their friends, and their friends would talk about things that were inappropriate for us to hear. But it is what it is. If you have 2 kids or 3 kids, you get a babysitter, or maybe the older kid will watch the younger kids. In my house, it was like that. My son's coming. Don't censor yourself. My son's coming. Talk freely about wanting to kill your wife. Talk freely about it. My son's there. He's 9. He'll think it's hilarious. And I did. Talk freely about it. Get hammered in front of him. Talk about it. Talk about the drugs you do. He won't mind. He'll be doing them soon. He'll be doing them within 2 or 3 years. Get him ready. Let him know. Let him know you were coked out of your mind the other night and you thought about pushing your wife out of the attic window. That's something the guy really said. I was sitting there. I was like 11. He goes, I look at my wife sometimes. I go, I want to just push her out of the attic window. He goes, who would know? The whole table of guys, just red wine, laughing. It's great. Were great memories. I appreciate the way I grew up. That was a great style of parenting. It's getting real now on Long Island, even for people that didn't really grasp, because in the beginning, the outlook on this on Long Island was, will you shut the fuck up? That's how it was handled. Yeah. Shut up. People had to sit down with their parents and go, you can't golf. You can't go golfing. You can't go to Maria's baby shower. You can't. And they'd have to explain it. And they'd go, so what? Nobody's sick. And now it's those statuses, those people are going quiet now. They're going, because some of them are dead. But they're getting a little quiet, like it's just a flu status. See, that's where I never make these stupid I never go out there and I don't take these hard stances when I don't know something, because I've learned that you only have to walk it back. So if I'd come out and was like, it's just a flu, it's all fake, the fucking duh. I mean, we drove by Cedars-Sinai one night. There weren't a lot of people there. It would have been easy for me to come on and be like, yeah, we fucking drove by Cedars. There was no one there. This thing's fake. And then now I would have to be like, well, looking at numbers and, you got to walk it back. So, people are going to get real quiet. They're getting a little quiet because in the beginning remember that this was a liberal, this was liberal hysteria to wreck the economy so Trump would get voted out of office. This is what I heard from my people on Long Island. And this was hysteria. Somebody I knew wrote, they're closing the country down because of sniffles. And Long Island loves World War II memes. They'll be like, this is the greatest generation. And then they'll show like somebody blowing their nose and be like, this generation closed the country down for sniffles. And the funny thing about that is the people that shared those memes were never in the military. They never served in the military. Okay? And they love World War II. Although they probably did nothing for their grandparents that served in World War II other than rob them. The only thing they did for the greatest generation was take money off their mantle, okay? So, but they love those World War II memes that are like, we're pussies now. Goddamn pussies. This flu, sniffles. There's still, and now there's still people doing that, by the way. There's still people that are going, there's still people with the mortality rate and the death toll, and that's all going to stop because it's coming. And most people, there will be some people that don't care. There will be people on ventilators right before they go out, before they're in a coma. There'll be people going, so what? This is not, it's just, Trump 2020 will be the last thing certain people say on Long Island. Trump, that'll be it. Because they'd rather just, drown in their own lungs than unravel their worldview, listen, man, God bless them. Let them know. That's what it is. If you have a significant other right now, you might be having more sex than usual. You might not be. It really depends. I don't know. I know a lot of people that are growing to hate each other more and more every day, and what a blessing that is. But it is a good time to remind you that the Tim Dillon Show is sponsored by Manscaped, and the engineers at Manscaped have spent the last 18 months crafting the perfect vaccine. Kidding. Ball hair trimmer. The perfect ball hair trimmer. Okay? And they've just released the new and improved ventilator, kidding, Lawnmower 3.0. Smooth out your scrotum with a new ceramic blade and Manscaped advanced skin-safe technology. There's a lot of fancy copywriting that means it won't nick or snag your nut sack. The Lawnmower 3.0 has a lot of upgraded features. It's the best razor system you've ever owned. Listen, I have one of these. I use it. A lot of people I know. Ben uses it. It's just a good product. You need to manscape. You need to shave your dick. If you enjoy our show, it's a great way to support this show. You need these things. You could probably even have it if you're a woman and you have a penis that was created by a large vagina in a transgender surgery, or if you just got a crazy bush, who cares? Get 20% off and free shipping when you use the code TIM at manscaped.com. That's manscaped.com and use the promo code TIM for 20% off your first order. That's a lot of fucking money. Okay? You need a well-shaven dick right now. It's important. It makes it look a lot bigger, and it'll please your partner or yourself. Maybe you're just whacking it. That's okay, too. You want to jerk a penis that is well-shaven, and you feel good. Treat yourself well. My friend's mother was a prostitute, and she said to me and my friend once, she was a great woman. She sold us drugs, and we were in her kitchen, and we were maybe 13, and she said, you know what, boys? She says, don't get any girls pregnant. And if people say, how come you haven't had any accidents? You say, because I fuck myself. I treat myself good. I treat myself real good. You can smell the Southern Comfort on her breath. She goes, I treat myself real good. So do that. Treat yourself well. 20% off is a lot of money. Manscaped.com. 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 They've really juiced this baby up with 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology. The battery now lasts up to 90 minutes, so you could shave your dick for an hour and a half, because do it during a Zoom meeting. If you have a Zoom meeting for work, just shave your dick for an hour and a half while you listen to Karen. By the way, how is anyone, I haven't had an office job in years. How is anyone even, being productive on these Zoom meetings? Yeah. How is anyone not going, we're all going to die? How in God's name is that not happening? Like they're having these Zoom meetings for work and you're all supposed to act like everything's normal. I mean, what's that about? You're going over marketing numbers on a Zoom meeting right now? And you're sitting there in your underwear and you gotta like aren't people like you're not gonna just be like, hey, I'm gonna go through this report in a minute, but guys, what do you think this is? You think we make it out? You think you think there's a society on the other end of this? I don't know how to farm. I mean, fuck, man. My wife coughed the other day. I thought about not letting her in my house. I love her, but I got to think about myself. I'm in survival mode. Man, I don't know how I'm going to provide for my kids. Fuck. All right. Well, anyway, the new product guidelines that I received seem to be pretty positive. The client enjoys the packaging, I mean, how do you it's like doom every day, and then you just got to get on a Zoom meeting and pretend that everything's okay. And you're just sitting there. You just came all over yourself. You just masturbated for 30 minutes. And I mean, you really got into it. And now it's a Zoom meeting, and you got to sit there covered in cum and like look at everyone that you used to work with, and they're all covered in their own cum. I mean, manscaped.com, 20% off, free shipping. It's all good. Goodbye. That's a lot of what I find amazing about this time is this new technology. It's not new, but everybody's using it now. This like Zoom where you don't have to go into your office and you just sit around in your own filth and then, try to be professional, And there's people doing Zoom comedy shows because they're insane. By the way, everyone doing that, you're probably going to have to get a day job soon. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. But people that have relied on stand-up comedy as their only source of income, potentially, I'm not saying definitively, and I take no joy in this. I think a lot of them may not be prepared for what's coming. And I don't know if what's coming is going to be an environment conducive to earning a living at stand-up. It might be. I hope it is. But all signs on all systems are flashing red. So I know you think that in 2 months you're going to be back up and at 'em, and that's why you're keeping sharp on the Zoom comedy show. But I think it's time to call mom and dad and apologize. Stop ridiculing your religious family and start learning hymns. You're going home. You're going to start singing in the pews. Our God is an awesome God. That's right. You're going to marry your high school sweetheart and dedicate your life to the Lord. You're going home to that small town. You're going to community college. You're going to be a waitress at a local diner, and you're going to get fucked good by the town bad boy in his leather jacket. It's pleather, probably, but whatever. He's going to fuck you good. And you're going to remember what old small-town cock tastes like. And he ain't smart, and he hasn't read Marx's Capital. No, he's going to fuck you good in the basement of his house that's owned by his alcoholic mother, who's very happy to see you because she thinks you're going to save her son's life. Hello, you were living in New York. Oh, it's glad to see you're hanging out with Cliff. Cliff could use a girl like you. He's had a rough couple of years, but he's a good boy. Mama loves Cliff. And you're going to go and you're going to suck his balls and you're going to lick his taint and you're not going to eat his ass, but you should because you're not going anywhere. Settle in. Start becoming friends with your high school, the girl who used to torment you, who was a cheerleader. Now she's a fat mother of 3. And now you see her as a person. And you don't mind how much she tortured you. You don't mind that because you see how much she's suffering now. And there's some schadenfreude in it for you. And you two become friends. And when Denny's opens back up, you sit there and you wedge yourself in a booth and you scrape the bottom of a bowl of queso and you eat pancakes and fried shrimp and food that doesn't even go together because you're back home for good. And you've dedicated your life to Christ now. and you're going to community college and you're working as a receptionist at a construction company that's failing, and your boss and you do coke together, and he hasn't tried to fuck you, but you've already resigned yourself to the fact that if he tries, you're going to ride him good because you don't have shit left. It's all over for you. 6 months ago, you were prancing around Brooklyn, telling everybody you were non-binary and you hated your parents. Now you're back home fucking men and praying to Jesus. You're back home eating big, fluffy omelets stuffed with cheddar cheese and grits. No more tuna tartare. No more vegan fucking soup. It's all over. It all ended quickly. But you realize in that this life is actually more real than anything you experienced in New York or San Francisco or Chicago. This life was a life you were always meant to live. And you go into that local bar and they know who you are. They say, hey, baby, how are you? And you go to the bartender, Erica, because she's a friend of yours, and she's got a few bumps of coke for you, and you take a few shots, and you feel like a winner. You sit on that bar stool and you light a cigarette and you feel like a winner for an hour. And then you walk back out into the cold night terrors because you have no more money and no more blow. And you go home and you toss and turn in your bed as you sweat and you come down from the devil's powder and you think about Cliff, the town dirtbag who puts his cock in you. You think about your fat arch nemesis who's now your only friend. You think about your shit construction job. And you thought to yourself, if you had any sense, you'd get back in your car and drive it right into the ocean. But Denny's ain't bad. Those pancakes are fluffy, and they'll be hot tomorrow morning when you slide them down your throat. When you slide them down your pig whore throat. Because you're going home. And that's my message to the people out there that are confused about what the next steps of your life are. Many of you don't know, but that's what it is. That's where it is. Okay? You're not going to be, they just rescheduled it Just for Laughs Comedy Festival for October. Probably won't happen. The September, October, it's not happening, folks. And if it does happen, if somehow the pandemic recedes and it does happen, just so I don't want to be wrong, I'll go up there as a suicide bomber and blow it up. So if I'm wrong and JFL happens, I will wait till the New Faces showcase and I will walk on stage and pull the pin and blow it up. And right before I do, I'll look at you right in your face and said, told you so, we're going home. One way or the other, you're going home. You're either going to Syracuse, you're going to see Jesus. Because I'm not going to be wrong. It's what it is, Benjamin. You know it's what it is. I only speak the truth here. I'm not here to pad you. I'm not wearing a mask in Beverly Hills. I have a beautiful face. I have a European facial structure. I'm showing it off. It's the only part of my body that hasn't gone to total shit. I'm not putting a mask over it. So you can call the cops and drag me in. It's not happening. This pig wasn't wearing a mask. No, I was not, sir. Because I live in the United States of America, which is still a free country, although we can't work, fraternize, leave our homes, walk down the street. But you cannot compel me to wear a mask when I am not near anybody. Ben, let's do the totals. It's time to do the totals. We do the totals. We try to do the totals. Coronavirus cases, 1,099,622. Deaths, 59,193. Recovered, 228,938. Don't know what that means. Don't know what they mean by recovered.
I guess they mean had it and then got better.
USA, we've got 277,000 cases, 475. 277, 475. Okay? Deaths, we have 7,402. So that's where we're at. Let's look at the country map again. This is going to sadly really take a toll on the third world. And I think people in rural America are not prepared for the toll it's going to take on rural America. Because even though they're more spread out, they don't live on top of each other. In certain cases, they do. But those hospitals do not have the money or the resources to accommodate any type of outbreak. So that's going to be a real issue. But thank God we have Jared Kushner handling everything. Because of his extensive experience in evicting people, he's now going to evict them from life. He's now going to show people how to evict them from the planet. You know, public health advocate Jared Kushner. I feel good. By the way, even the diehard Trump fans don't love globalist Jared or Ivanka or the fact that he gave his family jobs. Even if you're a Bannonite, isolationist, paleocon, you cannot like fucking Cohn in there from Goldman Sachs, and you can't like fucking, I tend to think if you vote for Trump again, I mean, you know, we just get what we deserve. If Trump wins again, it's like, listen, it is what it is. I will just laugh as I've done for the last, because I'm not going to drive myself crazy. But Biden sucks. He's a bad candidate. I get it. But if you think that Donald Trump is handling this the right way, or you think that his demeanor and tone is appropriate as nurses and doctors are dropping dead, if you think it's appropriate for the guy to go out and brag about the ratings of his press conferences, then I don't know that you can be right. I didn't fall for Trump, but I didn't fall for Obama. I didn't fall for any of them. I didn't fall for any fucking person who told me that he gave a fuck about me. And if you're a child and you did, well, I feel bad for you. I feel bad for you if you're a fucking child and you fell for that. That somebody cared about you and just coincidentally that also coincided with them getting the most powerful position on earth. I think it's time to give somebody else a shot. I would give Bernie Sanders a shot. National health care seems like a real good idea in a world with a pandemic. We've got a pandemic. It seems like, yes, I know the government is inefficient. I get that. I understand that. I don't think that system's going to be perfect. But our system, when you get a $30,000 bill for the ventilator that Buffalo Wild Wings built for you to use, that's not a good system either. So let's all fucking start to understand that, like, we're going to need to move in a direction of smart collectivism, not in the sense that, it's like we don't want a Maoist country and the idiots that back Bernie that are always, shit talking landlords or whatever. And even though I do have a funny video coming out this week about landlords, but the people that think we're never going to be a Marxist country, it's just never going to happen. Cut that shit out. But the one fucking, I completely understand the idea that it is almost suicidal in a country that is susceptible to these types of pandemics to have hundreds, have 100 million people, 50 million people, and more than that now because they're all getting laid off without any type of coverage, that aren't going to go to the doctor, that will never know if they're sick, that will be going out and spreading this disease, that are not going to isolate, that are not going to know if they have it, because they don't want to get a bill. Like, don't you realize? Stop with the isms, capitalism, socialism. Stop with we're not in the classroom, okay? This is the reality. Keep talking about capitalism. You're going to get a bat to the head. You're going to get a knife to the throat pretty soon because people are going to go, I want your money. And rich people used to understand shit like that. They used to understand that, like, well, we can't just fucking dangle it in their faces all the time. We got to have some type of functional society. And if you think a functional society is somebody who was laid off from their job, who goes to a hospital, who ends up on a fucking vent, is going to get in 3 months a $30,000 bill from that hospital with no fucking job and a $1,200 bailout from the government, if you think that's a good fucking system, I hope you can fight. And I hope you got a lot of weapons. And I know a lot of you fat pigs that listen to the show think you can fight and you think you do have a lot of weapons, but you're going to be too drunk to find them when the time comes. Let's be honest. Okay? I mean, this is the reality of the situation. All these tough guys, all the tough guys on Facebook live with their mom. A lot of these guys, these like libertarian leaning like guys that are like, I value my freedom. Well, you have the freedom to leave your mother's house. How about the freedom to fucking get out of your parents' house? Stop telling and have a little human compassion for a while. I'm sorry that whatever happened to you, that you don't care about any other human being that fucking exists except yourself. I'm sorry that you can't care about another fucking human being. Okay? Iran, my favorite country, 53,000 deaths. Very sad. Many people know that I'm friends with a lot of the mullahs in Iran. That's where I started comedy. No, I'm kidding. But a lot of people know my cat, and I don't really own him, and he doesn't live with me, but my cat Oscar lived in Iran for a few years and was a mullah, was one of the Iranian mullahs. He was a cleric. Oscar was a radical Muslim cleric. Oscar's been in many extremist groups. He's been in Antifa. He's been in Proud Boys. He's been in neo-Nazis. He's been in all of them. I mean, he's been in, Golden Dawn. I mean, he's been in, radical communist. He was an eco-terrorist for a while. He doesn't really care. He just wants it to burn down. He doesn't care where it comes from. But it's going to be tough, but it's a little enraging. And I'm the furthest thing. Like, all these articles that are coming out that are like, this crisis is a gendered crisis. Many of the healthcare workers are women. It's a gender. I'm like, dude, that's not the move. And the move isn't on the right because, these guys are going to start putting out articles with like rich people in masks and they're going to go, the virus has made us all one. It showed us we're all vulnerable. It's flattened us. We're all the same. We bleed too. And it's just going to be pictures of, and it's like, no, we're not all the same. You're quarantining in a mansion. You have the money to pay for medical care. There are people right now that are fucking worrying. They're through no fault of their own. They're worrying about getting thrown out on the street. And then if I say something about that, people are like, you want liberal in Hollywood. Hollywood doesn't exist anymore, dummy. It's shut down. Yeah. It's shut down. And there's nothing liberal about not wanting people to be fucking on the street. Do you want to walk through a gang of violent, hungry people every day? Is that a good, functional society? Even if you don't care about people and you only care about yourself, don't you think it's in your interest to not have a third of the country on the street begging for food? How high do you think these gates are? None of these, I know where all these rich communities are in LA. You could climb that fence. You could climb into the most elite communities in this country. You could climb a fucking fence. You're right in there. Yeah. You're right in there. I mean, there's probably ones I don't know about, and they're going to trust me. They'll start building them. They're going to start building ones where are a little tougher to get into, and they have their own water. In Montana, they have properties with their own water aquifers and shit like that. But I take heat from people sometimes. Where people are like, and as soon as this crisis ends, I will go back to being against healthcare workers. I'm against them. Mm-hmm. I've always been against nurses. And I've never liked doctors. And it's very hard for me now to have to like them. But I do, and I get them lunch when I can because it's a good thing to fucking do because that's all we can do. We can do nothing else. But I can order delivery. That is one of my skills. I could call an Italian restaurant in Jersey and have them drop off food at a hospital. And you can fucking too. Okay? So while you're waiting for the storm, while you're waiting for 500,000 rich pedophiles to be picked up by the military during the period of the internet being taken down, while you're waiting for that, if you have a little money, go order some penne alla vodka for the local nurses that are going to drain your lungs of fluid if they have to, okay? Because QAnon, whoever that is probably not going to be able to hook you up to a ventilator. And I have said I will apologize if QAnon is correct. Mm-hmm. Nothing would make me happier than seeing rich pedophiles arrested, especially some of them, that the people that you guys say are pedophiles. If they all ended up being pedophiles and get arrested, I would laugh my ass off and I would be like, hey, I'd wear a QAnon shirt. I'd be like, this is it now. Yeah. You guys were right. Hey, I was wrong. I would tell everyone that's all we would say for the rest of our lives, by the way. If QAnon's right, all any of us would say for the rest of our lives is, you're not going to believe it. I thought they were bullshit. And it turned out that fucking Tom Hanks, this fucking guy, I had no idea. And so they shut the internet down and they brought over these hospital ships to New York. And we thought they were going to be to help people that were affected by this pandemic. But they were like filled with fucking Hollywood celebrities that were arrested. I mean, wow. My favorite thing in the tweet is that they say, during the 3 days, the TV is going to come on and they're going to explain to everyone that the world is run by a satanic pedophile cult. That's my favorite thing, only because I want to know how they're going to get into it. Like, what newscaster do they choose to break that news to the public? What newscaster do they choose to be like, hello, everyone. Welcome to the program. Today, as you can imagine, we have some special breaking news. You may have noticed that the internet has been shut down and you can't use the phone except to call 911. And you may be asking yourself why. Is it some type of outage? Correct. It's actually a forced outage. Because, well, I'll just rip the Band-Aid off. The world is run by a satanic pedophile cult. Tom Hanks is in it. And we had to fake a pandemic to arrest Tom Hanks. Now, I know some of you might have questions. Some of you might have a few. And this is not to say that there aren't pedophiles or that they're not very powerful or that some of them aren't satanic. I don't really care about the religion of the pedophiles, by the way. Yeah. These people seem to leave out Catholic pedophile. Why? I don't understand. What about a Methodist pedophile? Are they not a problem? But I understand that. I've done interviews on my show with the foremost experts in this. None of them believe in this theory. Mm-hmm. Nick Bryant, who wrote the Franklin scandal, none of them believe that Donald Trump is freeing. None of them believe this. Mm-hmm. And these are the guys that wrote the books on the fucking things that you people half understand. But if I'm telling you right now, if it happens, if it comes to fruition, and I'm still in the camp that would rate that unlikely. But if it comes to fruition, I will apologize, and I will just say, hey, I was off there. But if it doesn't, now I challenge you. If it doesn't happen, can we let it go now? Not stop trying to protect kids, not stop trying to fucking bring people to justice, but can we stop believing that this bullshit thing you think is going to happen is going to happen? Can you grow up? Can you fucking grow up if it doesn't happen, if there's no internet outage and they don't? And I love that you dummies are like, there's 500,000 sealed indictments. Like, they're going to need indictments if it's really that bad. And they're taking a satanic pedophile cult that controls the world. They're taking them into custody. They're going to read them their rights. They're going to do indictments. They're going to go by the book. They're going to make it by the book. If they're all living on adrenochrome and murdering kids, they're going to be like, oh, well, we don't treat terrorists like we're going to treat them better than we treat terrorists? Like we're going to read them their rights? We throw Arab guys in Guantanamo Bay who've done nothing. But we're going to read Tom Hanks' rights. We're going to hand him, make sure he's indicted properly and brought through the system if he's been living off the adrenochrome harvested from scared children and sacrifices. You really think we need indictments at that point, guys? Guys, this is what happens when you take a few nuggets of something that's undeniably true, that the world is run by sick freaks. The world is run by some very sick people. Not all of them, but a lot of them. They're into heinous shit. Some of it includes the abuse of children and the murder of children, 100%. But if you think that all the justice is being delivered tomorrow for that, I think you're wrong. And I'm a conspiracy guy. Like, I'm a guy that is very receptive to a lot of these ideas and things. Here's what you do. How about this? What about this storm? Give everyone that's not a pedophile a Ridge wallet. There's a lifetime warranty if you love it and free returns if you don't. Ridge wallet is a small, sleek, metallic front-facing wallet. It fits a few credit debit cards, maybe a crisp $100 bill, so you can take it out and roll and do some cocaine with somebody who's of age. Whatever. Ridge forces you to streamline everything in your pocket. One of the saddest memories of my father is when he'd take out this big leather wallet of business cards of people that wouldn't do business with him. He'd have wads of cash falling out. It was just a boomer wallet. Looked like an old baseball glove. Not the Ridge wallet. It's sleek and sexy and fun. And it's you can spray it. You can Lysol it. Especially now in a pandemic, you can clean that Ridge quick. Rub some hand sanitizer on your hand and rub it on the Ridge. It's easy to Lysol, easy to wipe down with a Lysol wipe. It's very important. It is actually one of the most hygienic wallets you can have, which is important now. It is important to have a hygienic wallet. It's important to not carry a lot of shit. The more shit you carry, the more surfaces for the virus to live on. The less surfaces to the virus to live on, you're doing good. You're doing good. Because we want to respect what's happening. We want to do the right thing. We don't want to lose our minds here. The only thing we have left is our minds. Think about that. The only thing you have left right now is your mind. Your job is kind of gone. You can't go anywhere. They've taken most of your friends. They've taken it all from you. And it's because of germs. But all you've got left right now is your mind, your mental dexterity, your ability to reason. If you lose that, you lose everything. So get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping and returns by going to ridge.com/Tim, T-I-M. That's ridge.com/Tim, T-I-M, and use the code TIM. Link in description. Get a hygienic, sleek wallet. Super important. Go to Drudge. There's a few funny articles. Henry Kissinger writes an article, Pandemic Alters World Order, which is, just one of the, it's like we need, there's an argument for this. I mean, Kissinger, of course, is a war criminal. He's grandpa genocide. But he's like, we need more global cooperation to defeat these types of pandemics. Potentially. I also think it was probably not a good idea to have everything built in other countries because corporations didn't want to pay their workers. So now, look at the percentage of medicine that's made in China. This is jarring. This is the percentage of pharmaceuticals that are made in fucking China. Okay? American pharmaceuticals made in China. Go to which medicines are made in China. I'm telling you. Go down. Here's what's made in China, okay? Drugs for blood pressure medicine, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, epilepsy, depression. So much shit. Dude, ibuprofen. Go to ibuprofen. How much of that they make in China? Dude, so much of the over-the-counter medications and even serious medications that people need are made in China. And this is the problem when you outsource everything. If you have a war, if there's a supply chain breakdown, you cannot get the types of medications that you need. Last month, the U.S.-China Economic and Security Review Commission held a hearing on the United States' growing reliance on China's pharmaceutical products. 97% of all antibiotics in the U.S. came from China. 97% of all antibiotics come from China. Centralization of the global supply chain of medicines in a single country makes it vulnerable to interruption, whether by mistake or design. If we're dependent on China for thousands of ingredients and raw materials to make our medicine, China could use this dependence as a weapon against us at any time. So even if you don't care about workers, you don't care about wages, you certainly care about your kids getting medication. You certainly care about, and 97% of all antibiotics. And there's other stuff too. So, I mean, this is part of the reason that I think that it's kind of a fantasy to suggest. I do think you need global cooperation to defeat pandemics and threats of that nature. But I think it's this, globalization, which is truly just this financial system that has, primarily benefited wealthy people or benefited people in certain industries, and has decimated large swaths of the country and a lot of workers. That system is the system that allows a lot of essential products to be made in labor markets where the labor cost of producing those products is the lowest. And that becomes a problem. It becomes a big problem when you can't get those fucking products. So, Henry Kissinger goes out there with an op-ed and he's like, well, we need, we don't want to put up more walls and we don't want to, but it's like, hey, buddy, so here, so we go down here to my favorite paragraph, go down a little bit. He goes, leaders are dealing with this crisis on a largely national basis, but the virus' society-dissolving effects do not recognize borders. While the assault on human health will hopefully be temporary, the political and economic upheaval it has unleashed could last for generations. No country, not even the U.S., can in a purely national effort overcome the virus. Addressing the necessities of the movement must ultimately be coupled with a global collaborative vision and program. True, but some of the economic upheaval are going to be people going, we're living in a fucking system that doesn't work, Henry. We're living in a system that's not fucking working for anybody. Some of the economic upheaval is going to be people kind of waking the fuck up. And he's like, we need a global collaborative vision and program. How much do you want to bet that global collaborative vision doesn't include anybody that makes under, $10 million a year? How many people are going to be collaborating that aren't millionaires? Not many. I understand that you don't want to be an isolationist country. The Fox News people that just keep yelling China over and over again. Trump is so good. He knew, because what the left should have done is when he said, it's the Chinese virus, the left could have said, hey, man, we don't care what you call it. We should have had tests. Why didn't we have tests? That's that stops that doesn't give him, but the left has to write all these op-eds about stop calling it the China virus. And then, so Trump and now they're in a tit for tat about what you call who cares? Why didn't we have tests? Why are you bragging about the ratings on a press conference? But, everybody just falls for it, man. And if you're old enough and you're smart enough, you simply realize that these political solutions are not going to work. And you just hope to God for science. You pray that somebody smarter than anybody that we know is going to figure a way out of this. Because the people that are tasked right now with solving this problem, they don't have a clue. I mean, Jared Kushner, he doesn't have a clue. I mean, it's just good luck. But keep doing what you're doing. Keep getting through it. Keep calling people every day with bad news. It makes you feel a little better. Keep calling them. Wake them up with it. Oh, sorry, did I wake you? Well, you got to hear what I read. Got to hear what I read. There's a study coming out of China right now that says rats that get coronavirus grow to 6 feet long. They're eating dogs. They'll be here soon. Anyway, have a good day. How you holding up? Everybody's calling you now. They're saying that. How you holding up? How are you holding up? As soon as they say that, ask for money. Oh, good. Can I get a thou? Can I get $1,000? I'm doing good. I love $1,000. I love 1,000 cash, please. I want to buy some masks. But I mean, we had a lot of fun on the Patreon. Not to plug the Patreon, but the Patreon episodes are really funny. Really good. I mean, we do try to put work into them. We don't ask you to pay for something that sucks. We do try to put work in it. What we try to do with the Patreon episodes, they're audio only, but we drive around. We try to drive around, and it's funny, and I have a little bit of a different vibe. When I'm driving, I feel free. I used to love to drive. I used to love to blow a few lines of cocaine up my nose and drive my dad's Mitsubishi Galant until I smashed it into that into the car with some grandmother. But she lived. She lived enough. So grandmother with the kids, I got her head on. I made a left turn from the right lane and ruined her day. Smacked my secretary's head on the dash. She lived. She's a big woman. But I used to love to drive. The freedom of driving with nowhere to go. just driving through the wasteland of the culture, just driving through the pandemic, seeing the boarded up storefronts, seeing the people looking at you from their houses, wondering if you've come to take what they have and make it yours, looking at the suspicious people and the scared children and the pets that don't quite understand what's going on, looking at the shuttered bars and performance spaces, seeing the Comedy Store with the very fucking spooky sign that doesn't have any names on the marquee. It just says stay healthy, something you'd find in an apocalyptic film in a deserted town when you were trying to figure out what the hell happened. We're living in a movie, folks. We're living in a movie, and you're in the movie. You're in the movie. I don't know for how long. I don't know how long I'll be in the movie. That's the fun about the movie. We don't know when and if this ends. We're all filled with uncertainty, and we're concocting stories and ideas in our head to try to make it okay. We have to. We're pattern-seeking creatures. We want justice. Enter the QAnon people. We want explanations for why this is happening. We haven't truly given ourselves to the randomness and cruelty of whatever this existence is. Maybe it is a simulation. Maybe it's not. Maybe we're just fungus on a rock and nothing means anything. And we're just here and, you know, the few moments you get listening to my show or, you know, having kids or whatever makes you happy, you know, those few moments make it all worthwhile because that's truly what it is. You got to resign yourself to that now. You have to prepare yourself to die, folks. I mean, that's really what it is. You have to prepare yourself for the end because nobody is guaranteed tomorrow, okay? And you got to think about how you want to live the rest of your days. You have to prepare now. Prepare for the end. And the way that you're going to prepare for the end is move back in with your religious parents and start fucking Cliff, the town bad boy. Become friends with your arch nemesis from high school. She's a fat whore, and she's got stretch marks on her neck. And you become friends with her, and you eat at Denny's with her late at night, and you start smoking cigarettes and doing coke, and you hang out in a local bar with a fat bartender named Erica, and you let your boss at the construction company pump you and cheat on his wife as he shoves his half-hard penis into your vagina, and you don't even wash it anymore because what does it matter? It all becomes one smell. Your vag and the dirty Denny's floor, it all becomes one smell. And it's not a bad smell and it's not a good smell. It just smells warm and rotten. But when you smell it, you realize what that smell is. It's home. It's home. And we're all going home one way or another. See you next week.
Hi, I'm Timmy the Trash Can, and I love trash. Popcorn boxes, cups, and candy wrappers. They all taste so good. Instead of throwing your trash on the floor, won't you please give it to me? Thank you for considering your fellow patrons.
Money. Yeah, no, you can afford it. We see your Patreon. You're doing good.
I'm doing okay, but it's like, you know, listen, there's no middle ground in New York. You either go big or it is what, you know?
Yeah.
There is, like...
Are we podcasting?
Yeah, we're on. We're on right now. This is Tim Dillon, Giannis Pop, Chris Stefano. Take two. This is going out.
Yes.
So everybody behave.
We think it's going out.
This is going out. No, this is going out.
You can't make a declaration like that at the beginning.
I mean, when your producer, what's his name, Ray? When he opened the door, I almost kissed him right on the lips.
Yeah.
I mean, this kid opened the door, and I said, is this my Grindr date? I understand why Sal Volcano wants to get inside you.
Yeah. I mean, it was awkward. Sal stopped the episode. It was like, this guy's a hottie.
I know. I love it.
Sal's like, I could get him work. He's going to model. I said, here's what he's going to do. He's going to be an audio engineer.
Yeah, let's make a right turn so we can release this episode.
Less than a minute in, we already can't release it.
Here's the deal. Your last hotel room that we did a podcast at was 911.
911. Room 911 in the Carlisle.
Now your hotel room is 2001.
2001.
I don't know what that means, but I think you had something to do with fucking 9/11.
It's very interesting. You're absolutely right about that. There's something odd about that. 9/11 and then 2001. That's fucking creepy.
It's weird. It's almost like the government is following you, and they.
Well, we just decided we were going to do a video on Epstein's Island. We just decided not to.
Yeah,
I thought about it. I just thought about it. I said, you know what? Why poke the bear?
No, but here's the deal.
We were
nothing's gonna happen to you.
You don't know that.
Because the guys the Secret Service agents or whatever fucking NSA people are listening to your podcast or whatever, they love it.
Right.
So it's like they just not gonna do anything to you. I mean, those are the guys.
They enjoy it.
When
It's
you
for
said
them.
Yeah, when you said I was sitting in Long Island with a mound of coke in a car saying we need to listening to Rush Limbaugh saying we need to honor our contract to the people of Iraq, they were going like, this guy is going nowhere.
Yeah.
Sorry, boss.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
pretend to follow him, but it's because we're protecting him.
Yeah, we need him. This guy. Yeah, but we were gonna do a video. My friend works in the Virgin Islands. We were gonna do a video. We're gonna roll up to Epstein's Island and just hop off, and do a little video in front of that temple where God only knows what he was doing in there.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it, and I'm like, this kid's getting married in 5 months.
Yeah.
Some other kid wants to come and film. I said, I can't lead these fucking kids.
Wait a second. Did you get a call from his mom, like in the movie Almost Famous?
Oh,
where they're going like, just make sure my son is safe, okay? Keep him safe. I don't know what you're doing with your rock star lifestyle, but you can't bring my son to Epstein's Island.
Yeah, I
work.
I didn't, but I just didn't want to like watch him get pushed off a cliff by a groundskeeper on Epstein's Island and then have to fucking go tell his fiance, like, I'm sorry. He was great. He was a great editor. He really understood what I was about comedically.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. I don't want to believe that the world is run by pedophiles, but let's be honest. There's harder things to prove. You know? Like, that's there's harder things to disprove than that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You would have a real hard time proving that wasn't at least partially true.
Yeah. Something happens when you climb up the ladder of power.
Yeah.
That just sort of unlocks a very dark sexual lust.
Something's there.
It's like the top level of Mario Brothers.
Well, yeah.
And it's like you get there and it's not a princess. It's just like an illegal little
because
boy.
what excites you anymore?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
you've done everything.
What you've done it like John. I know for a fact when John Travolta first started to become famous, or he was just having sex with women, and then he had sex with all the women, and then it started to be like only guys are going to excite me. And I'm going to be honest with you, Tim. I'm getting close.
Right.
I'm getting close to that level too.
Well, you fucked a lot of chicks.
I fucked a lot of
you
chicks.
You might want to just slow it down.
Chlamydia slowed it down.
Right.
So Jesus intervened.
Yeah.
He took the wheel and it was drippy. So I'm on meds now, but I feel good.
Yeah.
So I had to slow it down nature-wise. But my point is that if you gave a guy like me, I'm a nice person. I've been told by my peers I'm a nice person. I love, my daughter. I love God. But if you gave me hundreds of millions of dollars and gave me this power,
it's a real problem.
I may start to do things.
Who knows?
Like Giannis was commenting on how beautiful a horse is. We saw a horse walking by because we're in fucking Midtown.
He said, don't you think now you can see how easy it is for a person to get attracted to a horse?
Yeah.
And I said, absolutely not, Chris.
Right.
Because I don't see
that.
so much pussy and so much Latina ass, and I'm like, what about the horse? I'd like the horse.
Right.
Yeah. So something happens.
And I'm looking at you, Ray, with that you keep fucking tickling that mustache. It's gonna just know your fiance. You're gonna get a load on your back.
That's why AOC is right. She's right. Mao, Stalin, AOC, they're all right.
Yeah.
Nobody should have that much money or power.
Yeah, he was comparing AOC to Stalin in the car.
We got to knock him down a little bit. We need to take a little bit of the money.
Yeah.
We need to take a little bit of money.
Yeah.
You got to fuck kids in a hotel.
Yeah.
You can't have an island.
Yeah.
You can't have your own island.
No.
You can't have your own island.
No.
You got to rein it in.
Rein it in. Do it in room 2001 at the Manhattan Club.
It's been going, because this carpet's disgusting. I had to go downstairs and start screaming, going, what is good? Do people come in and jerk off on the carpet when I'm out?
Yeah.
Something's going on.
This place smells like a hostel.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not night. It was $140 a night.
Yeah.
And
that's crazy that Midtown is that cheap.
It's cheap.
Downtown is where the big prices
Yeah,
are.
Because
what it
that's
is.
where hedge fund managers are bringing their harems.
Yeah.
Right.
It used to be up here. Now
Used
it's
to be
moved
up here.
downtown.
Yeah, it's-
Chinese businessmen used to be up here.
Yeah, no,
Got it.
now they're downtown and I'm up here. Podcasting is going on up
Yeah,
here.
right.
And then confused Norwegian tourists.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
So like I'm here for a bit. I'm here for like a 10-day thing. It's like you got to try to stay under 200 if you're going to be here 10 days.
Why don't you go stay with your family on Long Island? You don't want to deal with that.
Because they're boomers and they're fucking out there complaining about something.
I mean, they're complaining about inheriting houses.
Yeah.
This is where my family's at now.
Yeah.
They're inheriting homes and they can't handle it because they got to renovate them. It's
Yeah.
too much of a project.
Yeah.
You get over 30, you cannot stay with your family. You can barely stay with friends unless they're very wealthy and have like a wing of their house. When you're over 30, the sleepovers are done. I wake up with crippling anxiety anxiety. Like, we're all crazy.
Right,
I
right.
can't wake up in somebody else's fucking home at 2 a.m. I'm like, oh, God.
No, no.
Yeah.
I go to sleep at 3 a.m. just so I know my first wake up with anxiety is during the day.
Yeah.
Right.
So I can go right back to bed.
Yeah.
I can't wake up at 1:30 with anxiety. I just can't look out at the dark.
Yeah.
So I go to bed at 2:30 every night. I wake up at like 5:30. I'm like, well, the day's almost here. The sun will save us. And then I go back to bed for another 4 hours. I just can't be in somebody else's home.
Yeah, no, my family's at my house right now for Christmas, and it's a little like Giannis. I'm in rare form because I've been off women now for a month. I've been celibate a month, and already it's like the anxiety. I've been like, I got to text girls, but I've just.
But Eckhart Tolle
But
told
Eckhart
you
Tolle,
to
I've
be
been reading
friendly
The
with your
Power of
president.
Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Beautiful.
And I'm being friendly with my present. But that also includes at times, like to get the anxiety out, I can't have sex with women. So I went down to Shore Road in Bay Ridge and I yelled racial slurs at the water.
Just
And
get it
that
out.
gets
You
it
gotta
out
get it
too.
out.
You gotta
Yeah,
get
you
it
gotta
out
get
one way or
out.
the other.
You
Yeah.
got to get it out.
Yeah, you gotta
get it out. And
Yeah.
see, my Long Island family will just say those racial slurs very calmly on their couch.
This is what I love. Yeah.
Very sweet and like
slip one in.
syrupy.
This is
Yeah.
what I love about boomers in Long Island, right?
It's a specific type
It's a specific
of boomer.
type.
It's
Explain
the
a
origin-
boomer one more time
Yeah,
to me. Explain a boomer.
A baby boomer.
Okay.
They were born after World War II when we needed to replenish the population, and people started pushing out people. They believed in, the suburban home. Suburbs were invented.
So my mom's a boomer.
When
Yes.
America went downhill was after World War II. Even when you get real estate, everyone asks, is this a pre-war building? Because they made shit good then.
Right.
And then after World War II, they just threw up cardboard boxes to sell an American dream that doesn't exist.
Right. Got
And Long Island is like the paradise of that dream. It's like a microcosm of what it looks like all across the country. It's a disaster. It's strip malls. It's Panera Breads. It's holding buzzers to get tables at dinner at Outback Steakhouse. It's all an
Yeah.
illusion.
Got it.
There's
It's-
nothing good about it. But
Yeah,
what I-
and that's, by the way, those are the positive qualities.
Yeah, those
the
are the
negative qualities. The negative qualities are my football coach fucked me.
Yes.
I'm on heroin.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, but your mother's a boomer, but she's a city kid, right? She's a
Born and raised Queens, New York. Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
a true boomer to me, and this means nothing. It's just my own. My concept of them in the mind is the suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
So true boomer, like if you're in New York or Queens or Brooklyn, or even like if you're in LA to an extent, even though it's the suburbs, or if you live in Chicago, yes, you're still a boomer. But to me, the real boomer experience is the suburbs.
Yeah.
Your parents moved out of a city. Your grandparents probably grew up in a city. They got out. They live in the suburbs. You stayed in the suburbs. You were raised in the suburbs.
By the way, it was all the modern American dream was all a marketing ploy by the auto lobby.
Right.
And they capitalize on the white need to stay away from minorities.
Right. And then,
And then their kids realized, oh no, the minorities are where all the fun is.
Right.
Because when you sit in an Applebee's bar,
Right.
and and Journey comes on,
Right.
and white people start swaying,
Yeah.
you want to put a gun in your mouth.
Yeah.
You're like, where's the salsa club?
Yeah.
Where's Q-Tip DJing?
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like,
Get
so
me
their
outta
kids,
here.
I applaud the millennials who are moving back.
Yeah.
It's just get rid of the wokeness.
Right.
Get rid of the wokeness. You've
Yeah.
been woke for so long, you're starting to fucking hallucinate.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
time to take a nap.
Take a nap.
Go to sleep.
Well, what's interesting about
Trans women aren't women.
They're not. And do you film
not.
this
They're
kid when he's sleeping? Because
they're
I want to
trans
tell his
women.
mom he's not safe.
It's in his contract.
Yeah.
He understands you have to make sacrifices
Ray,
to do what you want to do.
Ray, if you
It's-
think Timmy's not jerking off above this pull-out couch when you're sleeping, you got another thing coming. Ray, when you wake up and your lips are a little
name
wet,
is
you
Ben. Ben,
Oh,
listen,
Ben.
Ray,
Whatever.
Ray,
I'm gonna
call
call
him
you.
fucking Ray.
I'm gonna call you whatever I want to call you, fucking twink.
Yeah.
You'll
Listen, Ray's parents. We know you're tuning
This
in.
is the only relationship where you can abuse someone. I couldn't abuse him if he was a writer on my show.
Right. Yeah, no.
Because he'd go complain to HR and there'd be 5 articles. But nobody cares
Yeah.
about a
And you-
podcast
yeah,
producer.
nobody gives a shit,
You
too.
can get raped. I mean, Bobby Kelly used to punch that girl in the face.
Yeah.
You worked for.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, Luis Gomez was on You Know What Dude the other day, and they were asking him to show them her underwear on
Right.
the podcast.
Yeah.
You have to do
Yeah.
it. Nobody cares.
Yeah, Shannon Lee's, they
Yeah.
rape her. It doesn't matter.
yeah. Speaking of trans women.
Right. I mean,
See, now
that's the
we're
thing when-
flirting with not being able to
Yeah,
release
it's,
it.
it's going out. But when
This is
women,
going out no matter what.
When women,
Yeah.
when
Go
women
ahead.
get too Italian, they are trans.
Yeah, they're a little
Yeah.
trans.
When women get
Big
too,
Ange was a trans.
yeah, when women get too Italian, something wrong happens. It's
Yeah.
just like when women get too Irish. When women are too,
Yes, too much of anything is not a good
it's
thing.
not good. It's just they overload. But the
Yeah.
boomers, really, it's the 50s and 60s is when they were They had like my dad is a technical boomer.
Yeah.
Was born in 1952.
Yeah.
Came up during the whole hippie Woodstock, was in a band, and then turned around, and all of a sudden he's selling office equipment for Pitney Bowes.
Yeah.
This is like the typical boomer.
And by the way, that part of it is what we need. We need that. You need a sellout. Yeah.
You have to.
The millennial, because the millennial generation is kind of like the boomer generation. The war's over. There's a big peacetime. There's prosperity.
Right.
They got all these ideals, this idealism. They're holding signs.
No.
It's like we need that generation to just realize it's time to get a job.
You can't
at
do
Wetzel's
open mic
Pretzel.
comedy forever. You have to do something. My dad didn't like his job, but that's okay. He wasn't good at it, and he came home every day and he laid on the couch and watched Sally Jesse Raphael or whatever the hell was on TV.
Sure.
He did what he had to do to raise me. He wasn't thrilled about it. And then my mother was a weeky-watchy mermaid in Florida. You want to talk about real serious jobs where she would swim around in a tank and truckers would jerk off because the strip clubs weren't open yet.
Yeah.
It was so this is how seriously they took life. And then
Your dad might be Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know.
If your father had enough
By the way, there's a
energy
lot of
to
kids in that generation whose father might be Frank Sinatra.
Of course.
Yeah. No, but it's like if your father has enough energy, like now all these fathers have energy because they're not working. It's like our dads, they couldn't because they were fucking exhausted.
They were doing shit.
So they couldn't play with me. So I had to learn myself. I had to learn how to play basketball and do things like that myself.
Yeah.
You know, well, my father's different because he was a criminal, but a lot of fathers.
But he still worked. That's
he
a
still
job.
worked. That's a job.
That's a job.
That's a job.
It's a job.
Whatever he collected,
Figuring
whatever
out what
he did.
all the PIN numbers are and the account numbers to steal the
figuring out
money
a way
from
to
your
steal
dad.
his son's comedy money is a job.
Yeah, he did that. He also cleaned out your mom's account too.
Absolutely. No, the kid, he's Stanley's cleaner.
The kid likes to put a little money on horses.
He puts a little money on the horses. It's what it is, you know? It's what it is. And then he winds up living in the basement. It's what can you do?
But that's what happened to them. Like, one picture was my dad at Woodstock, and it was not quite at Woodstock, but at one of those. And then the next picture was he's like in an ill-fitting suit, trying to knock over small businesses and sell them copiers. It's just that's what it was.
But that really encapsulates the generation of boomers.
100%.
They grew up listening to Bob Dylan, smoking weed, trying to find the third eye, screaming about world peace and how Vietnam's a paradise.
Right.
And then it just kind of ended with them screaming about MS-13.
Right.
It's always MS-13.
Well,
we're being invaded by MS-13.
It's a perpetual culture of victimhood. Like they're the original victims.
Yeah.
People don't understand how do millennials become victims? The boomers are the original victims.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
they're the people they inherited the money, they got the cheap loans, the cheap credit, they got the GI Bill. Well, not the GI Bill, but they got the runoff of the GI Bill, which was the big inherited house in Long Island, Levittown, everything. But they still cards have been stacked against them somehow. Yeah. Somehow, some way. My parents were like, my father always says the same three things in perpetuity. He goes, can't get ahead. Yeah. Can't get ahead. He's like, they're always trying to get you.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just trying to stay out of trouble. And I'm like,
You're like, who's trying to get you?
Who's trying to get you?
Who's trying to get
Who's
you?
trying to get
Your
you?
need to go play piano at a fucking restaurant?
Yeah.
Who's trying to get you?
My father will literally say, no matter what you say to him, his response, if you say to him, Dad, I killed a man, his response will be, he goes, the older I get, the more important I realize it is to golf. Yeah. Goes, get out there. He goes, play 9 holes if you have to. He goes, you get to my age, you regret it. He regrets not playing more golf. That's what his regret is.
That's what his regret is.
That's his regret.
The suburbs is a mistake.
Right,
Strip malls are a mistake. It's an absolute horror show.
Yeah.
It is a wasteland. It's a real corporate capitalist wasteland.
Yeah.
By the way, I just want to say hello to all Tim's friends who are listening, you motherfuckers with cocaine on your fucking ties.
Yeah.
Listen to me. I know our last episode wasn't fucking funny.
Yeah.
And I agree with everything you're saying. You're real people and I appreciate it because you got a real sense of humor. But this one's fucking funny, you fucking Long Island
This one's funny, you
cocksuckers.
piece of shit.
You fucking cocksuckers.
Yeah, Chrissy
We're bringing-
Chlamydia is here.
But when
Listen,
Chris is here, the dynamic changes from 2 fucking arrogant assholes to 3 funny kids.
They can't have, every episode can't be funny. You need something to listen to while you wait for your DWI lawyer to show up in a diner.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you can't be chuckling when your DWI lawyer shows up to the Westbury Diner and says, so this is number 3.
Yeah.
You're doing time. You're gonna do a little.
While you're sitting there reading the local Syacet ads on your paper fucking placemat.
Because you were a little fucked up at Lily Flanagan's and you should have taken an Uber, but that bitch pissed you off and you said, fuck it, I'm in charge of my own destiny. I'm just gonna barrel down the parkway.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Go get your fucking sushi at a restaurant that has neon
Throw
lights.
this podcast on and hit the elliptical at Live Fitness.
Here's
It's
the
what
deal.
it is.
Once you get out there, the boomer mentality is so pervasive. Kids are boomers. Like 19-year-olds, their favorite musician is Billy Joel.
That's ridiculous.
It's wild.
Yeah,
They don't modernize.
Yeah, it's like when I start to get into comedy, right? When I first started to get into comedy, this is when I started to meet this new kind of person. Because where I grew up in Ridgewood, Queens, everybody's kind of like, everybody's dad works, everybody's dad's in the union. So it's like our dads really weren't around, so we're listening to Jay-Z or whatever we're supposed to be. Even comedy, it's like I used to watch, Jay Leno with my mom, whatever, because I slept in the bed with my mom until I was about 16 years old. It's what it is. But then it's like I started to feel so insecure when I first started to get into comedy, 2009, 2010. All these kids like, you don't know any Beatles songs? You've never heard of Lenny Bruce? It's like, yeah, my dad was a real guy.
Right.
My mom's a real person. It's like, I don't know what you and your fucking homo dads are playing. Like, if you're listening to the Beatles and you're 18, you're fucking weird to me.
Culture was a way to rebel and the way to be like, fuck our parents. We want something that's our own. Yeah. And the weird thing about Long Island is it's a lot of kids that they want to become their parents. That's the goal. They don't want to do better than their parents. Like, we looked at our parents and we were like, okay, great, but we want to do something else, something different. We're fucking young. We want to do something else. A lot of them we looked at and we're like, they're in a, maybe they were in a trap or maybe they're in a job that didn't excite us. Sure. I looked at my dad. I'm like, he doesn't like what he does. Yeah. Doesn't like what he does. And you want to do something else. You want to kind of break that cycle. And then not everyone can, obviously, and you make a lot of sacrifices too. But that's the thing. That's where a lot of those boomer ideals, and what I love about it, and it's just that Fox News kind of culture of like, we're being invaded, every's killing us.
MS-13's at your door.
MS-13's at your door, ready to kill you every minute. So you need, Tucker Carlson to keep you safe. Donald Trump's going to keep you safe from MS-13.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's be honest. If your dad is not voting for Trump, he's pushing the family in the wrong direction right now. I just want to be on record saying that. Because if he's believing in what the left can do, and I'm a more liberal person, but it's like, you want to hope that your dad, like, I'm in charge of my family, so the vote's going to Trump because I'm trying to push this thing. I'm trying to give my daughter a future, and I know the Ocasio-Cortez of the world, they'll take it, they'll ruin my daughter's life.
Yeah, it's a bad choice. It's a bad choice. It's a real bad choice.
Well, we were talking last night, Tim. It's like it's the same play over and over and over again. It's Mao, it's Stalin, it's Che Guevara. The thing about the boomer generation is when you take a course in college on counterculture in the 60s and things like that about the boomers when they were teenagers, whatever, they're the heroes of the story. They're the heroes of the story, and then there's this other side on the other side of just these white men who have crew cuts, who are on the other side holding guns at the kids holding flowers who are androgynous. Sure. Right. And it's like, there's a good guy, bad guy kind of fetishization of those two sides that removes all nuance, which is where kind of the modern liberal arts kind of inculcation has started. Yeah. It really started with the boomers saying, these are the bad guys, we're the good guys. Yeah. This is the Legion of Doom, these are the superheroes. Yeah. But it's like, you know what? Those kids with crew cuts did bad things, and those kids with long hair who were androgynous carrying flares did bad things. Yeah. And now it's like my dad would say, my dad was in the Korean War, and he would say, I feel bad for what happened. My dad was, because he fought in a war. No wars are good. But, when my dad was old, like the weeks before his death, it hit me. I was like, you know what? You were kind of fighting for something good. Right. Look at North Korea now. It's not good. Right. There's something off about the utopian notion of everyone being equal because go look at nature. It's the opposite of nature. Absolutely. And if you want to survive and succeed, imitate nature. Nature needs to allow for the strongest to fucking survive. I'm a capitalist. I'm a libertarian now.
Donna's moved to the suburbs for 2 weeks, and now he's just walking around.
There's MS-13 everywhere. God damn it.
He's got a fascist haircut now. He's really fashy.
Yeah, no,
he's
bad.
fashy right now.
No, but you know what I mean? It's removed nuance, and it started with the boomers, and it started with the counterculture. There was a lot of good causes that they had, but they're fetishized. Yeah, they're fetishized.
But you also got to look at like what I think a lot of the boomers did was they just took they didn't think about what was good long term for anything, right? Everything was about take it, get it, buy it, consumerism, mortgage crisis. Just give me. I want more. Bigger house, bigger pool, bigger that. They are the most materialistic generation. They're not really religious or spiritual. They don't, my grandfather's generation, they had war. Your father's generation had war. They had honor and valor and even those things that aren't great and wars aren't good, but they had other things. The boomer generation's defined, to me, almost exclusively by materialism. Things. It's houses, cars, wants, needs, but more wants, you know? Cruises,
Well, it's like they went from
dinner.
don't you think they went from one extreme to the other?
Yeah.
They went from one extreme of like, we're against all that to like total indulging in that.
Yeah, the total indulgence is what leaves you feel empty. That's why everybody on Long Island is walking around trying to shoot up to feel anything because, you know, once you have the pool and the house and the car and everything else, it's empty. And modernity leaves you feeling empty. And the boomers have just said, well, we're just going to take another cruise. We're just going to eat another lavish dinner. We're going to go to another vacation. We're going to go see Fleetwood Mac again. We're going to go it's just over and over again. I mean, I remember this was a great boomer moment. My friend's girlfriend got arrested for impersonating people. She was cashing fake checks. She was on Indiana's Most Wanted, okay?
Yeah.
Isabel. She was a stripper.
We got to get her on the podcast.
Fun woman. Yeah, she's just going to 10 years. Her fourth year in Chicago, 10 years. She's in jail right now. They don't fuck around there. They go, you're going in for 10. She's got 3 kids. They're black. She's not. Is what it is. The point is this. She's fun. She's not a racist. Yeah. So but she kind of is also. So here's the other thing. The cops show up at the house. My friend Ryan, great kid, juice head, answers the door. Big guy, bigger than you, makes you look like a little twink. Big guy.
Absolutely.
Answers the door. The cops goes, Isabel here? He goes, no. He goes, let me explain to you how this works. He's a state trooper. They go, we have extradition or whatever they called it, treaty with not treaty, but, you know, we got to get her out of here. She, you know, Indiana State Police, she's on the Most Wanted. So the reality is we have a warrant to search this property, to come in here. And if we find her in here, you're an accessory now if you don't tell us where she is right now. So I'm going to ask you again, where is she? And my friend Ryan looked at them and he went, she's in the kitchen. Okay? So they walk in, they take her out in cuffs, everything like that. I'm having dinner at his house that night. His girlfriend that he'd been seeing for 2 years, Indiana's Most Wanted, just got taken out. My friend's Ryan's parents, who I love, best people in the world, are talking about buying a condo in Naples. That's all they could talk about was buying a condo in Naples, and would it be near the beach? Which should be near the beach. And it's just like it was a generation of people where it was about them.
Right. Yeah.
It was about
So
them.
even the protesting, which was supposed to
That
be
was about them.
other people,
That was
about
about
them.
them.
It's a little narcissistic.
It was actually all about them.
Well, I see it right now. Christmas time is coming up when my grandfather was still alive, who was in his, he died in his late 70s, and this was in the late 90s. But he would always say, because my mother is all about, with Christmas, I mean, the piles of presents and the stress are through the roof.
What do you need, temperature control?
I'm just making it a little cooler.
Cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, my grandpa would always say, he would always be like, this isn't what Christmas is about. No, stop with the gifts. Stop with the gifts. Get them one thing. Get them one thing.
Right.
And I always thought about that. Like now, me being a father, and I'm like, I got my daughter a couple of gifts where like my mother is like, you got to get your daughter 35 gifts. And it's like, no. Because you're saying that consumerism, that capitalism, she was born with that. I really we can see a little bit better now.
There's an emptiness to it. I think there's an emptiness to it because you're just chasing, and you're just chasing things without meaning, and that becomes the problem. Like listen, I love my dad to death. He's a good dude, but a lot of his life was defined by the need to have money for these things.
Well, it's I think it's
religion too is the same.
Yeah. I think it's like I said, I think it's an American dream that was marketed to them after the World War.
Yeah.
That, hey, there's this perfect life. When really the American dream is the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit. If you have an idea, you start a company. Yeah. That's the real American dream. Being your own boss, starting something. You're creative, taking it as far as it can go. The American dream is not the end result. Hey, picket fence, car, and that's what was marketed. It was marketed by the auto lobby who's really provided the blueprint for what America now looks like coast to coast between the old cities.
It's all marketing. America, we're the best marketers and we're the best at conditioned thinking, and it's been happening from day one of our country. We've talked about this on the podcast, even the idea of freedom from the British Empire was just a marketing ploy to get more troops. The people of the time didn't even want that in the 1700s. They were like, no, Britain doesn't really beat the shit out of us. We just want to be represented in Parliament. But George Washington and all those guys and Jefferson were like, the marketing strategy here is independence and be the free nation so we get more soldiers to sign up. But that's not really what this was ever about.
Yeah, and the Nazis put all those Jews in concentration camps as just a marketing tool to get everybody galvanized.
It was marketing.
Is there a cause you can?
It's just a marketing tool.
It's just a marketing tool.
Yeah. I mean,
conditioned thinking.
And now it seems
I'm joking, by the way.
That middle income family they're just being squeezed out.
I mean,
and you can just see people are either elite or they're struggling.
In my family, and during Thanksgiving or any holiday, that's all my family talks about because we represent the middle. Is how the poor get everything and the rich get everything, and the middle is just getting fucked.
The middle
left
does
and
get
right,
fucked.
and it's just true.
Yeah.
The middle does get fucked, but on the flip side again, just to remember nuance, which I think needs to come back in our education system. I think the real failure is going on in the education system.
I think it's not that bad of an idea right now. And then if you're an 18 or 19-year-old kid listening, I think it's not that bad of an idea to leave college. I don't know how much college helps you. Number one, nobody cares if you have a degree or not. And all it does is fucking give you those radical, crazy left-thinking professors.
Go teach English in China.
Go do that.
Right. Go teach English in China.
Pursue your career now because nobody cares if you have a bachelor's degree.
Right.
They don't care.
Well, what I was
You're not getting a job.
But you got to have a doctorate.
Yeah,
because
which I do, and I'm still doing podcasts with Ray and his gay friend.
The middle class, the middle class does get fucked. The middle class is disappearing.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, you know, I had this sort of exchange, this kind of argument, tete-a-tete, if you will, with this liberal journalist online, and she was saying this. She was saying, you know, the middle
Giannis,
class.
by the way, Giannis's Twitter is just watching someone have a breakdown in real time.
Yeah, no,
which is great. It's
I mean,
someone having a breakdown in real
can't
time.
handle
I mean, he
it,
says
At
all the
3
time.
a.m.
I
he's
try
like,
to
I
stay
don't wanna-
away, and I
well,
can't.
no, he says, I don't want to put out podcasts because I don't want the heat on us. And then you look at his Twitter, and it's like, what the fuck, alt-right
crazy.
shit? Are you tweeting? All you're doing is he's bringing. He at Seth Simon.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, he's fight. Wake up sometimes and he's fight. It's 3 a.m. and I'm on the toilet and I'm watching Giannis and Seth Simons fight each other.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, what is?
No, dude.
We got to push back. We got to hold the line, boys.
Yeah, how do you think I feel? That's why I tweet out hashtag Yanni Long Days because I know when I see those tweets, I'm like, I'm the one who's
gonna
going
be
to
a long
catch the
day.
brunt of it.
Yeah.
I'm happy he's moving
So
to
what are you?
Westchester.
You're in a fight with a journalist.
Very journalist, and she's saying all these things, and there's truth to that. Yes. I mean, we've become increasingly, you know, top
Polarized.
level or
Yes.
poor in a lot of ways. But in America, poor doesn't mean poor.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. It's like she said we're becoming like what's the Dubai? She says like Dubai. I go, wait a second. We're not. There's no indentured servitude happening.
Yeah.
There's no South
There's no
Asian
debtor's
slaves
prison.
being used by oil money Arabs to fucking build high rises.
Right.
That's not happening. The poor people here are eating meat for $1. Do
Right.
you know what I mean? They all got homes. They got phones.
Right.
Poor people here have a phone. They have
Yeah.
the internet. It's like so. Yeah, the middle class.
Yeah,
is
my
being
tax
squeezed.
money's paying for their welfare.
Right.
Yeah. So that's
Okay.
that too.
Sorry, that was from
But
Ridgewood.
listen,
I apologize.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
We're a spoiled culture in a little
Yeah.
bit of a way. Because how much better do you want it? Compared to what? Like, I
Yeah.
want to ask these protesters, they go, this is
Well,
a racist country. Compared to what?
Well,
This is
here's
the
what I
least
think-
racist country.
Well,
absolutely.
We are the least racist country,
In
man.
Europe, they'll yell racial slurs in public at the soccer games.
Yeah, Europe
Yeah.
likes to fucking they like to fucking lecture us, and then you watch a soccer game and there's just a whole section doing a Nazi salute.
Right.
And they're going, oh, that's the conservative party.
Right.
Every
Yeah,
European
yeah, it's
conservative
the worst.
party
Nobody
just
would do that.
openly salutes.
Yeah.
Nobody would do that.
Yeah, they throw bananas on the fucking field
Yeah,
there.
it is a little
Yeah.
worse there. It is a little worse there. But I do think that people are frustrated with how much rich people have gotten away with. I think that's fair. I think it's fair to be frustrated by how much rich people have gotten away with.
Okay, communist.
You know,
Yeah, but
I'm gonna have Abby Martin on next week.
Yeah,
to
but it's
fucking
like
balance this
capitalism,
out.
though, but
these
that-
guys are out of control.
but that's the
We're
gig.
gonna have to bring Abby on to fucking.
But capitalism isn't fair that way. But I mean, what do you want? Do you want it to go back to socialism? I mean, what do
No,
you
but
think?
listen, it's not capitalism. It's not what we're living in. Is not capitalism. It's institutionalized criminality, where half the Senate and Congress are blackmailed by fucking guys on islands, photographing them have sex with kids, and then they have to go vote for whatever the fuck big business wants. It's not capitalism. It's gangsters, international gangsters. This is not capitalism. These buildings are owned by Russian oligarchs and Chinese amusement park tycoons
Right. Well, that's-
that are taking
well,
all this
yeah,
money.
there's that,
So this
yeah.
is nothing about. This has nothing to do with Adam Smith capitalism. This has everything to do with crime, cabals of criminals enriching themselves who are not doing anything democratically. None of this shit's being voted on. It's all being fucking shoved down people's throats. Nobody votes on this shit. Why do you think the biggest proponents of immigration are on the right? They're on the right. It's the Koch brothers. It's the Chamber of Commerce. All these big business guys want to pay these people $1 so that they don't have to hire black people and they don't have to hire people that are low income in America. So what you see is, these immigration raids are cruel and they suck, and I don't like what ICE is doing. But what happens is when you have these immigration raids, African American unemployment drops, people that are poor in that area then go work in these factories that were all. So I think I don't want communism. I don't want any type of collectivism, but we do have to rot. Like the Donald Trump's the result of a system that's been rotted out, that people have no faith in anymore. And they're not wrong to not have any faith in it. They're not wrong to not have any faith in a system where the president of the United States can fly to a pedophile island 26 times, and then the guy whose island it is gets killed in jail instead of being held accountable, and none of his accomplices are ever held accountable. So they're not wrong to lose faith in that type of system, you know?
But do you really believe that will change or can change?
I don't know, but I think the frustration is natural and understandable. Right. The idea that you have a system that is completely for one group of people, that rich people can buy their way out of prison, they can buy their kids' way out of getting caught with drugs. I mean, up until recently, if you were smoking a joint on 125th Street, you were going to jail for 3 years, and you were going to have a felony conviction, and you would have been potentially in the private prison system. I was
going to say the private prison. That they're trying to get toothpaste at a low cost. That's make toothbrushes.
So
you know what I mean?
The reality is you have all this slave labor.
That's exactly what it is.
Modern day.
That is modern day slave labor. I agree with you there.
Ocasio-Cortez is annoying. She doesn't have any power. I think you got to get off Twitter and you realize that people like Ocasio-Cortez, they don't have any fucking power. No one cares.
Will, though.
No one cares.
They will.
I mean, with who? Jimmy Fallon? The reality is the guys that have power are still the people that want to sell water and air to you. Right. That's the problem.
Here's my question. Do you really think what's your evidence beyond theory, beyond theorizing? Yeah. What's your evidence that this is widespread in the norm?
What do you mean widespread?
Like Epstein and what was going on with is a particular story about Epstein.
Well, let's say, the norm and widespread.
Not everyone is touching kids.
No one's saying that.
The Catholic Church, almost all of them are touching kids.
Yeah, but not everyone's saying everyone's touching kids. I'm saying that when you look at the ability of wealthy people to evade justice.
That's the oldest story in the book.
I know, but
that's not a consequence of modernity.
If it was your kid, it's not a good story. It's not a good story.
If it's my kid and I'm rich and he gets off, it's a very good story.
Right. No, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying here. The reality is, if it's someone that you know, if it's a kid that's being abused by somebody who's able to do it with impunity, it's a very big problem. It's also a very big problem if people are blackmailing politicians. Like all these debates we're having are supposedly this good faith debates about a system that people go in there and say, hey, I think it should be this. Another guy goes, I think it should be this. Let's meet in the middle. Let's compromise. Let's make laws. If you go in there and you're fucking owned and blackmailed and you're just not even representing the people in your district anymore, you're doing whatever the fucking corporation or whoever says you should do because they have power on you. And it doesn't have to be sexual blackmail. It could be financial blackmail. It could be anything.
But Timmy, okay, NRA is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Okay, because they lean on all these politicians.
Right.
They're a powerful lobby.
Yeah.
And a younger me would go, you know what? NRA's evil, NRA's evil. And then you go to these places. You go to these places, these districts that we're speaking of. And the people, that's what they want.
Right.
That's the way they vote. They don't live in a city where everyone's living on top of each other. They watch Fox News and they're paranoid about MS-13 coming into Indiana.
I totally understand
so
that.
It's like that is democracy. So
sure.
Are they brainwashed? Are they marketed to?
I mean,
yes.
Who wants the carried interest loophole on Wall Street? Who wants that? Who voted for that? Who voted for the idea that people could come into New York City with Shell Corps and just buy 10 apartments with blood money because they poisoned a river in Zambia and essentially committed
freedom, baby. Freedom bought it.
Yeah, but it's not freedom because it's not your name, right?
No,
you're not buying it under your own name.
But you're free to get creative. That's creative. It's creative crime. It's creative crime.
That's crime. That's why you have a Donald Trump.
And I respect it.
It's why you have. Well, you better start doing more of it, and then you could live in Manhattan. But the point is, how about that?
Yeah,
you start getting better at it. But the reality is, I mean, you can't listen. I know the left's annoying. I hate the left as much as anybody. But it comes from somewhere. This all comes from Donald Trump. This comes from somewhere. The
it's a reaction.
Yeah, Donald Trump comes from the
reaction.
By the way, Donald Trump comes from the left.
Yeah,
he's traditionally his whole life until recently
if you
was
get
left.
Cancer and you have
he was
to
at home alone.
He even knew that the economy works better with a little regulation because it balances things out.
He gets it, but the whole thing is if you get cancer and you have to declare bankruptcy, and that becomes a problem. People if you're rationing your insulin, so that you can live while
people, the Kardashians are worth $100 billion and their main export is lip gloss.
Yeah.
it gets frustrating. People get angry about
that. We just had Neil deGrasse Tyson on, and he just told us if Jeff Bezos was able to lay all his money in dollar bills in a line, he would have enough money to get from the Earth to Moon and back 16 times, wrap it around Earth 200 times, and then with the money left over, be able to go to Australia or something like that.
Neil deGrasse Tyson could line up all his money on the floor. A large percentage of it would go to paying off women.
Yeah, it's what it is.
So,
but I understand what you're saying. So that can happen there. And I don't even know anything about Jeff Bezos, how he is as a human being. But if that's the case, then there shouldn't be people having to ration off their insulin.
Is Santa.
Well, and this is where we all come back together, because at the end of the day, a lot of these things aren't political. The problems are very deep, and the solutions will be maybe they kind of come from technology or science or whatever. A lot of these problems are like the system's kind of broken. Facebook, I think, is worth how many billions of dollars, Ben? You could look that up. It's trillions, billions of dollars. They employ like 40,000 people. Yeah. GM at its height employed millions and millions and millions of people. These companies that are now generating as much more wealth are now...
Oh, they're...
500 billion. How many people do they employ?
Well, they employ because it's everything's being made overseas. Facebook doesn't have a.
Well, of course, but I'm just saying.
But I think
the future is scary for the American worker. If you're a worker right now, the future is scary.
Future is scary. That's why.
How many people they employ? 35,000. 500 billion. 35,000 people.
But that's why when you watch these Democratic debates, you'll see a guy like Andrew Yang say we need a national income.
Right.
That's what we need. We need national income. The glaciers are melting. There's going to be no more jobs, and the crowd doesn't even clap because that's boring.
Or can't we just...
But then you'll have another person say, I want to clean the White House because Trump's a pig, and they get an applause break.
Right.
So you're doing it to yourself.
Yeah,
and it's I don't want to choose a side either.
The people are the problem.
It's like
the people are the problem.
The people are the problem because nobody wants to live in the gray area, and the gray area is where most people live. It's like, yes, I want free health care for everyone because I believe in your injustice.
Yeah.
But you know what else? I want the fucking wall. So it's like, I want both.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, because I get the wall, but I also want my
the
people...
candidate who does that will win.
Yeah.
Wall and healthcare wins.
Yeah.
Immigration policy and healthcare wins.
And I'm not saying I want immigrants to come in. This is beautiful part of the country.
Yeah.
But they need to be vetted.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, listen, Donald Trump is right. If you want your health care, which we should have, I'm for single payer health care. Everyone
Absolutely
should.
single payer
But
health care.
then, you gotta look at the world. We're the ones fighting evil. It's like Netherlands. Time for you to send more than just a food truck when we go.
Yeah.
It's like all these other countries
that
have healthcare, they're able to have healthcare because we go fight their wars and they send fucking food trucks.
Yeah, but don't you think a lot of the reason that we're fighting wars
we need
is
oil is why.
We need oil, and we're also making a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I agree with you 110%. The issue now is you really can't, it's hard to de-escalate from where we are.
That's been my point.
It's hard to de-escalate.
Why would you want to de-escalate, baby? We're Rome. Just enjoy your Roman citizenship.
Just enjoy the end.
Look, this is what's really happening. It's the end. There's no solution.
Yeah. Right.
What we're doing here is just killing time to make money off doing nothing.
That's what it
because
is.
there's no jobs left.
Right.
We're just smart enough and fucking criminal enough to fucking steal money from these people on Patreon. This is not a real job, but we're just charismatic and we're winning.
Yeah.
None of this is productive. It's over.
Right.
Chaos reigns, and that's the way it should be. The strongest should survive, and the weak should die of disease.
Shout out Lizzo.
The only thing, Lizzo's stronger than all of us.
Listen, I don't know what I believe on this podcast. I'm just trying to make it entertaining because Tim's friend said the last one was too fucking arrogant.
Yeah, I'll go on our podcast right after
My
this and
friend
take the
sucks. My friend sucks. He went to that restaurant, Don Angie, and he was like, oh, it was okay.
What?
He goes, him and some Vietnamese fishwife he's dating. They go to Don Angie, and they and then they offer to bring me leftovers. I'm like, you're going to bring me leftovers
you,
like a
pig.
pig? Yeah. You don't know anything. That restaurant's fucking great, you big nose fuck. He's got a big nose. You know what I mean? He's selling CBD. I think we should do it CBD. I think we should make weed illegal and put them all back in jail.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
All these fucking tech fucking bros running around LA trying to figure out a way to deliver you weed on a fucking scooter. They should all go right back to Rikers.
Tim, you know it's over.
I do.
I mean, look me in the eye and tell me it's not over.
I know it's over.
How much? It can't go quicker.
No.
Things can't change day to day.
No, it's going to fall apart.
Yeah, we are an object falling to the ground, picking up speed the closer we get to the ground.
Here's the thing.
It's over.
I didn't know the end would be this hilarious.
It's great.
That's what no one thought.
Yeah.
No one thought the end would be like a Family Guy episode. Nobody imagined the end would be
Yeah.
Donald
A
Trump
game show host.
and Ocasio-Cortez, who was a bartender 6 months ago. Somebody gave her a book on Marxism, and now she's like the political savior of the country.
Yeah.
Nobody knew how kind of hilarious this would be.
Socrates did.
Yeah.
Socrates
What did he
did.
say?
You go back to the Republic.
That's
You
so
say,
wild.
you
Republic.
say democracy. The longer it goes on, the older people start to pander to the younger people. They start to act like
and when
them.
everything's okay,
Chaos
he said.
reigns.
Remember when he
Look
said
at
in
it
the
now.
book everything
Look
was
at it now.
okay.
Look at it now.
Yeah.
Ocasio-Cortez knows better than some 70-year-old.
He said-
we
he
look
said
at old
this.
people like they're pathetic. Their
Right.
life experience is cynicism.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
no, that's called wisdom, you young fuck. You
Right.
empty vessel of a human being.
Here's what Socrates
Right.
said. He said, here's the example, and here's how you know it's going to be over. He
Right.
said, what you're going to start to see.
MS-13 is going to be everywhere.
There's Muslims everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what he said. No, he said two things. He said, when one, everything is okay, like Giannis said, because he said, don't forget, at the height of ancient Rome, right before it started to crumble, and I'm all for it too. I love everybody, but it's like you could do whatever you want. Orgies in the streets, homosexuality everywhere.
Right.
There were no rules anymore. You couldn't say anything. Nobody cared. Right. So that's one. Fine.
A woman was a man was a woman, whatever you want to say.
Is that really the way
no,
it
I swear
was?
to God,
That was how
bestiality.
it got,
Ancient
yeah.
Rome was as
Yeah.
liberal as modern day West Village right
Wow.
now. That's the truth.
Yeah.
And then what also he said that you're going to start to see once democracy, the fundamental problem with democracy is not everyone's supposed to be voting. He said you should go to school to vote. You should go only specific parts of the democracy should be elected to the top to even vote. The minute you give everybody the right to vote, what's going to happen is this, and it's what's happening now, is you're going to have a candy shop owner and a doctor. And the doctor's going to say, candy is bad for you. So candy's bad for you, but I'm telling you, you'll live longer if you vote for me. They're going to say, fuck you. And the candy shop owner is going to say, I'll give you all the candy you want. Just vote for me. And the candy shop owner will get elected. And that's what's happening is the candy shop owner
It's called Plato's
keeps getting
Republic.
elected because he was saying you need to go to school. Like your major in college should be voting. And then we can at least have a better idea of trusting. But this overall idea that everybody's got the same vote is stupid. And he said it's why he didn't believe in democracy. Greece, they abandoned democracy for a long time. They invented it, but they didn't use it for 1,000 years.
Well, we're not even really a democracy. We're a republic. We're not a
yeah.
democracy. My personal belief. First of all, I just want all you listeners to know I'm a liberal kid. It's just how
As
I
am I.
believe in.
By the way,
Yeah.
the idea that anyone believes that at this point is the funniest thing. By the way, that's like me sitting in a chair and being like, I just want everybody to know I'm a vegetarian. Every photo and video depiction of me has been insanely altered. Every photo of me eating a ribeye at 2 a.m. at Smith & Walensky's is a lie. I'm a vegetable kid, and you can see my ribs.
Yeah.
Here's
I'm also a liberal.
here's
Yeah,
what
everybody's
Plato's,
a big liberal here.
Here's
I'm
what
a big
Plato.
All my audiences are conservative. My audiences come out to Texas.
I'm a big liberal. I
and they
got a
have,
show
like,
in
guns.
development at Comedy Central. So if they hear this,
Right,
remember,
Comedy Central, by the way, if you don't know, is a network on television. And do you know what television is? Yeah, it's the thing in your house that you put your blazer on.
Well, let's be honest. The conservative kids are more open-minded than the liberal kids now.
Yeah, well, the liberal kids are also boring.
Yeah, they're
That's the
boring
problem
and
with the
they're not
liberal kids.
open-minded.
You know,
They're not open-minded.
No, and they're boring. And the problem is
They're fanatics.
Look
they're
at comedy
they're
audiences.
religious.
they
I'd
look
much rather perform for
malnourished. A lot of the
conservatives.
liberal kids look malnourished,
Yeah.
and they have eyes that are sunken into their skulls.
Yeah. They all have roommates. It's like, that's not what I want. I want the
Yeah.
conservative kids with the money who are doing things on their own.
Yeah.
Right.
So, Plato's Republic, Plato was advocating for a class of people called philosopher kings. This is common, 101 philosophy shit. But
Yeah.
it's kind of true when you think about it. Like, I think the a bicameral or tricameral representative body is a good idea. So
Right.
government by the people. So every district, every whatever has their representative that interacts with these philosopher kings or this judicial branch, depending on how you do it. But the president, that branch, the executive branch, that he's elected, with all this money like you're talking about, because obviously that's
Yeah.
a problem, is the money. That's the part where you're going like, maybe Plato was right. Maybe that guy needed to be a philosopher king. Somebody who is trained or watched by a body like a Yoda or something to be that. He's in for 4 to 6 years, but he's not just some fucking game show host that has charisma.
Right.
Maybe that guy needs to be tested for his morality,
Yeah.
for
Well,
his
what's amazing is
temperance,
that
etc.
we can't enforce any type of term limits. Like you should not.
What do you mean? We do enforce them.
Well, but not
On the legislative branch, we don't enforce them.
Yeah, so you should not be a senator.
What do you think
for
about the judicial branch? Should they have term limits? Because
Like
that's a
what the
little
Supreme
weird
Court-
too.
that gets political. So I understand why they don't, right? I understand why they don't, because they don't want a judge to be politically politicized.
Well, they're fucking all politicized. They're voted in for their political views.
Yeah, but I just think it's weird that there are people whose entire career is I'm a senator or I'm a congressman. It's like you should have to go out and function in the world. This shouldn't be your entire career.
Yeah.
Because you should be able to do it for a certain span of time, 6, 8 years or whatever it is, and then get out of there. Because otherwise, these power factions develop, just corruption forever. It would make it a lot harder.
But what if someone's really good at it?
Well,
then there should be maybe a special exception where they'd have a referendum and they say we want to keep
I don't
him.
know
And
who's really good at it.
I mean, we could figure out how to get to. We could figure out how to get to
Schumer.
Mars.
I mean,
we should be able to figure out a better, an addend like to amend our governing system.
I just think we gotta recycle more people in there. We can't have people in there forever.
But the thing is with America, because people always want to compare America to New Zealand, say, "Oh, New Zealand changed the gun laws like that," because they have 5 million people.
Oh yeah,
when you have so many people and so many, you can't do it. It's like Giannis's example of the Titanic.
No serious person, I think, expects America to fall. I mean, the country, and my uncle made a good point. He's like, the country's become somewhat ungovernable because now there's so many people. There's 300 million people.
I think
so many cultures,
so many cultures, so many people. How do you
many podcasts?
So many podcasts.
How many people are in America?
So many white guys.
How many people are in America?
Too many white guys.
It's just
Is it 350? Hey, Fish Stick, can you?
Yeah, how many people are in
How
America?
many people are in America?
Hey, Ben's parents, comedy's going great, by the way.
Yeah.
Yo, Ben's actually doing fucking great. I mean, he's making money with his socks on.
Yeah, I mean that's
Ben's
that's
doing
the
great.
truth.
327 million.
Yeah.
Ben's doing great. This is the future, Ben.
Ben's doing great. Yeah.
And you've teamed up
Ben's
with
just
one of the
sleepy.
funniest guys on the
He's
fucking
just a
planet.
sleepy Texas
I mean,
kid.
you could be
He's a
fucking.
sleepy
You could be doing a
Texas
podcast
kid.
with Grant Gordon right now.
Oh,
You're with Tim
wow.
Dillon, baby. You're with the hottest fucking commodity.
Ben's
This
a-
kid's got Joe Rogan on fucking speed dial,
He's a
baby.
sleepy-
Who's going to be nominated? Who's going to be? He's going to. The presidential debate. There's a whole big petition for Rogan to be.
know. He doesn't
You
want
think
to
he'll do it.
No,
I don't
he
know. I don't
shouldn't
think
do
he
it.
wants to do it.
Because should we hunt with bows or guns shouldn't be a question.
No,
Yeah.
here's what it would be. I think it would be I think they would have to give him the leeway to do it the way he wants to do it.
Right.
Which is not do these little 1 to 2 minute sound
He
bites.
should also limit the pictures of elk and jalapenos.
Well, he
Yeah.
loves it. It's his
Well,
favorite
I
meal.
know,
and
but
it's
we
good.
get it.
If America,
We get it.
if
We get
America, if
He
America
could fucking
started
hunt me
eating,
with a bow and eat me for winter if I can get on his podcast.
if America could start eating, well, the way to do that.
I love
is
you,
to
Joe Rogan, but
is
it's
to
the
keep
same fucking
criticizing
photo.
what he puts on Instagram. That's the way to get on the podcast.
Ask
I'm
Yanni.
just being honest.
Listen,
Okay?
I'm the
Yeah,
biggest.
oh,
I'm the biggest cuck in this fucking room. I play the game,
I'm
baby.
just being fucking honest. You know what? It's the
Yeah.
same fucking photo.
Right.
It looks delicious, but it's the same fucking photo.
He loves it, and it's
Yeah.
listen. He hunts it, he eats it, he cooks it. It's healthy. I mean, this is what
I
he's
got nothing
into.
but love and respect for Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I think that he would
So
be
do
a
I.
great. He would be a great
I'm liberal.
interviewer if they allowed him to do it the way he wants to do it.
I would.
You know?
It would be. It's the only way to really get the masses of young voters, which is what they want to watch.
Right.
Nobody's going to watch it when they have. It's too boring for the kids.
I think Joe Rogan
Get
would
Joe
agree.
Rogan to do it.
I think Joe Rogan would agree that it's scary that a comedian, a great comedian who interviews anyone, there's a lot of people turning to him to,
Sure.
Listen,
to do the
it's
interviews.
scary that we're
the
at-
real
Yes.
problem right now is how fucking low the journalism industry has steeped.
Right.
We got these journalists with their own Twitter accounts tweeting out digs. It's
Yeah.
like, I just saw this fucking woman from Politico doing a big story on Giuliani. Keep it about Giuliani. She tweets about Giuliani's 20-year-old assistant.
Who's
taking
hot, by the way.
Who's hot. Taking a picture with the president. It's like, you don't have any respect for that 20-year-old's family, her
Right.
name. She's the assistant. How's she part of the story?
Right.
How's she part of your story?
Well, I mean, I have no.
How is this not
I have no
activism?
respect for journalists because they don't exist. I mean, there's like
gross.
seven,
No,
there's
dude, look
seven
at-
of them in the country.
Look at what we do on the History Hyenas account.
Yeah.
I mean, Giannis will write quotes from the New York
Why
Times.
not? Why
and the
not?
New Yorker
Jenny
from his
Slate had
fucking
the best
bathtub.
fucking special.
Yeah.
Why not?
And people
Right. History
believe it.
Hyenas is not the best fucking podcast in
Right.
the world. If Jenny Slate special was the best, I love her.
agree.
She's hilarious, but that special, I didn't even know if it was stand up.
Right.
I'm just being honest right now. I
Right.
don't know what the fuck it was.
Well, people writing about anything.
cackle all that out. Do you have a cackle button? How do
Leave
you
in the
edit
Rogan
things
stuff,
out?
but we don't want to piss off Slate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, just can we edit that out? I mean, she's very, very
No,
funny.
yeah.
I'm
leave
just
it in,
saying, we're living
Giannis.
in a world
We're living
where
in-
it's
yeah.
like they're telling me, what was it, 20 minutes and then another 40 minutes of interviews with her family?
Yeah.
I mean, and then you're telling me it's great. It's like I'm confused by it. And
yeah.
I think she's very, very
Well,
funny.
the people that are writing about
Yeah.
the people that are writing about comedy they really prefer comedians. They
I want
don't
that
think,
edited out.
Here's the thing: nothing gets edited out.
You
here.
got to edit that out, or I'm not
There's
signing a
what do you
disclaimer.
think Jenny Slate's putting you in her fucking Amazon
That's
show?
true. She
What are
hates
you
me
out
too.
of your
Yeah,
mind?
she hates me too.
She wants you to delivering pizzas.
I think she's funny.
She
at
wants
least.
you
I do
fucking.
too.
Let me tell you what she wants you. Let me tell you what would happen if you were to party in the hills with her and John Mulaney.
Yeah.
She would walk up to you and hand you a glass of wine and keep walking. So fucking let's get that shit straight right away.
Yeah.
The other thing is this: the people writing about comedy right now are writing about it from a perspective of what comedians either would have dated me in high school or wouldn't have thrown me in a locker.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right.
No, there's no healthy human being writing about comedy. I don't care who you are.
Right.
It's just not. Jason Cinnamon at the Times wishes he was reviewing theater. His mom was a big wig in theater and was great.
Right.
Joy Cinnamon or whatever. She had a whole theater company. He's reviewing comedy.
Which you're basically-
not theater.
Right.
Clowns. He's reviewing clowns. Meg Wright, who's a sweet girl but crazy. I've offered to have her come on the podcast. She won't come on the podcast because she gets scared to, I guess, leave her apartment.
Yeah.
Okay? And Seth Simons is like the personification of ringworm.
Yeah.
So they're not even real. There's
Right.
other Marlowe
Right.
Stern, this
Right.
guy GQ. They're not real. They're trying to make GQ woke.
Yeah.
These people, Jane Mayer, Seymour Hurt. There's a few fucking real
Right.
people that are actual
Chris
journalists.
Hedges, yeah.
Chris Hedges that went to a war and Chris Hedges is his entire every moment of joy has been drained from his body.
Yeah, that's
which
a
is
real
what
journalist.
a real journalist should be.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
but-
absolutely 100% stone cold correct.
I just want to do it all over again. I went to the
What you're
Nutcracker.
basically saying is if you're writing about the comedy scene, you're basically in the open mic scene of journalism.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you're not even open mind, whatever it is. I went to the Nutcracker the other day and I saw all these little families in suits that all live in places like Scarsdale and Bronxville and the East Side and the West Side. And I said, I just want to do it all over again where my family just really pushed me to just get into a real good college. It would have been an elite guy. I just want to have a slate gray suit and I just want to just have a nice, little brownstone, and that's my fantasy life, is to just do it all over again. Like, this is what I would tell you, because you're a great dad. Steer the ship as much as you can, because the boomers didn't steer the ship. They were like, just go to college, doesn't matter what college, figure it out. It'll be great. Enjoy it. We got a good community college. You'll go that. You'll do it. They didn't steer the ship. Steer the ship. Steer it when she starts to get like 9, 10. You really start steering that ship. And by the time kids are fucked right now, by the time they're like 17, because nobody put the work in from the jump to get them where they could be.
You're basically saying be a Tiger Mom?
You got to be that.
Yeah.
Why are the Asians
You
winning?
wouldn't have a podcast producer if there was Tiger Moms.
That's true.
His parents said, go live your dream. He moved to LA, and now he's sitting on a fucking couch.
There's always going to be
making money.
enough. There's always going to be enough runoff in the world. Do you understand? For people like me, there's always going to be enough damaged people like me and people like him that will find each other in at the House of Pies in LA,
Or
which
two
is where we
closeted
met.
gay kids like me and Chris will find each other.
100%.
Yeah.
But for everybody else, for those traditional people, make sure your fucking kids are on a track in high school.
Sounds like social engineering, though, and a little strike against freedom.
You got to engineer them from the familial point.
So what team are you on? Are you on the left or right?
I'm on the career.
Yeah.
I'm on the team of
why are you ranting against these Asians and Russian guys hiding their money from communist fucking regimes?
What happens is
they want to avoid taxes.
Because that's why you have Ocasio-Cortez. This is why you have these extremes.
Right.
Is because the center has collapsed.
I agree with you.
And that's the problem.
Okay.
So you can't, it's all action and reaction. So
But can you just please, for 1 second, so nobody gets the wrong idea?
Yeah.
Can you please just tell me what you said the other night, last night, because it was beautifully described and crafted and explicated.
with the trans thing.
With the trans thing.
Well, let me tell you
He's
about
been obsessed with this.
But
he's gone
I'm
crazy.
rightly upset.
Yeah.
No. I'm rightly upset.
We understand.
You know what the
Because you're
catch is with all
trying
this?
By the way, nobody's right about anything at 3 a.m. on Twitter.
Yeah. But the catch is, and just like, as much as Ocasio-Cortez, it looks like she hates white people, it's what she fucks. As much as Giannis tweets about it, it's what he jerks off to. It's the trans porn.
This is what it
I
is.
support of trans people.
No, I know.
I love trans people. You're
You're attracted to them.
I'm attracted to them. If they're hot, if you look like a girl, I'm in.
If you
But
get
they can't have
If you
a
look look like a
No,
girl.
no,
They
no.
can't
He
have a
wants
dick.
him to have a dick.
No,
he
I don't
wants
want
him
to
to have
cut
a dick.
up. I want the real thing. I want to cut a beef.
Interesting.
No, he wants
Yeah,
that.
I want
That's
to
what
cut
he
a
jerks
beef.
off to. I'm not even joking.
We're doing
Giannis
something
Pop
different
jerks off to it.
tonight.
Yeah,
His
why
wife doesn't
not?
like
Why
hearing
not?
about it. I keep telling his wife, I'm like, you're the perfect girlfriend. You just need a dick.
My sexual tastes are much like a Turkish sultan's.
Right.
I'm a Turkish sultan.
Yeah, I like to- yeah, your name is
my
Abir.
orientation is women, but if it looks like a guy, if it looks like a girl, I'm fooled.
Right.
Fool me and credit to you.
Well,
Yeah.
here's what I was saying about the trans thing. I was saying that it's not even trans people. It's not day-to-day trans people that you meet. It's not gay people that care about redefining society in this way. However, what it really is there's, radical groups of people that want power and they want to redefine all of society and they look for a way to do it. They look for an entrance point, right? They're like, how can we start this process? How do we get in? So they pick issues like the trans issue
Because they
it's-
can't just come out and say, give me all your money.
yeah, you can't come out and say, give me all your money. And by the way, we don't think you should have any speech rights. We don't think you should be able to talk about anything. So what they do is they come in to an issue that most people can understand and say, yeah, well, we want to be kind. We don't want to be cruel. We want to be welcoming and accepting to people. So what they do is they allow this trans issue to become their main issue. And then they try to move the ball down the field far enough so that they really limit the scope of what you can discuss and talk about in that one. And then, by the way, it doesn't stop there. It ends with, we want 80% of your income and you're not allowed to say anything.
Right.
That's where it ends. And
And
that's where it
a-
always ends.
And that's an old story.
And that's an old story.
It's not
the
a new
oldest
story.
in the book. Yeah.
You see it in Venezuela.
Because
You've
we don't
seen it with Che
if we
Guevara.
take all your money and you don't have a family and there's no bulwark against the state,
Right.
we come in and we run everything. We engineer you. We want to control you. It's the same way on the other side with the far right. They want to put
Right.
Jews in camps.
Right.
They want gay people and trans people to be marginalized because they want to enforce medieval Christianity as a tool of societal control.
Extremism.
Right.
That's what it is. It's just a bunch of people that want control. And I just need a pool in the Hollywood Hills.
Right.
That's all I want. I
Right.
just want a vantage point to watch it burn.
No, but I think it's very important for people
Yeah.
who are listening to this or anywhere, and this is why I go crazy at 3 a.m, to hold the line of reality, because that is the center. The
Yes.
center is going, hey, I support trans people. Trans people is a beautiful modern thing, but let's not throw caution to fucking reality.
Right.
I mean, it's a consequence of modernity. I mean, they take blockers, they take estrogen or testosterone, and that's great. And they identify because their brain is that way, that orientation in their brain is that way, and they identify that way, and they want to take that to fruition. But they are trans women. They're not women, because if they're women, what are women? So, because logically, if you're saying trans women are women, then that means all women are trans.
Yeah.
And they're not. So it's like, if you're insinuating that trans women aren't trans women, then you're almost implying something's wrong with being a trans
Well,
woman.
to be honest,
which
they're
is
trying
not.
to get rid of trans. So what they're trying to do
Yeah.
is they're trying to get rid of the step between.
They want you to
Yeah.
separate sex and gender.
Yeah.
That's what I think where the confusion comes in. They want you to say your biological sex is different than what your gender is. That's what they're trying
Well, they
to
also
say.
want to say that. They also want to say this.
That your gender you can choose, but your sex.
They want to say this. The gender itself entirely is a construct and a result of
Exactly.
society.
That's not true.
Of course,
Right,
listen,
but that's
true.
what
but it
but that's
doesn't.
what they're trying to
But
push
they don't
through.
care.
Right,
That's what
just
they're trying
They
to
don't
push through, though.
care.
Well,
It doesn't
people should
matter
know
to
it's
them.
not true.
And they don't care.
It's part.
They're
It's
biology
part
deniers.
nature, part nurture.
Truth and
what it is.
facts are like 90s shit.
Right.
We are done with
Who cares?
facts.
Right.
Nobody in a Trump rally gives a fuck about facts. They go, keep building the wall. There's not one brick of the wall. They don't care.
Right.
Facts mean nothing to them. He went in, he said, I'm going to clean up Wall Street. We're going to eliminate the carried interest loophole. We're going to fucking rein those guys in. He didn't do any of that, by the way. We're
You know what he did
The
fix,
next
though?
crisis will be another crisis. I mean, we've done nothing to insulate ourselves from the next financial crisis.
Tim, what I'm
at
about
all.
to say, I want your opinion on.
Yeah, Trump did fix LaGuardia Airport. I just want to say that. There's an artichoke pizza in there, and it's a one wing of the airport.
They're
at
still
LaGuardia. It's real
curing
nice.
coffee cups.
Yeah, but it's one part is nice. A lot of
Well,
parts
I
still
fly.
sucks.
I fly to JFK. I don't know LaGuardia. LaGuardia can't handle the planes I use.
yeah,
Me and Joe Rogan fly to JFK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's
Right.
my question. It's obvious to everybody at this point who has any sense that the conversation has been hijacked
Yes.
by the extreme right and the extreme left.
Right.
And sensible people know that that's bad.
Yes.
I think the majority is still sensible. So, but the conversation has been hijacked by these two minorities of fanatics. Now, when you look back at history, you look back at World War I, you look back at World War II, you see at the outset of World War I, radio was invented. So there was this great tool to now galvanize and propagate to the masses that mobilized and was used as an apparatus to accelerate a world war. Then you see TV was invented around World War II. You see the same thing happen with TV, where the Germans used it, especially, and so did the Americans, as a tool to mobilize, etc. Same thing as what I said before. Now we have the internet, the third great invention for communication. The same thing seems to be happening, where it is being used to galvanize these extreme points of view, the inevitable being another world war. Right. Your thoughts, sir?
Yeah. Well, I think when you look at who that war is going to be with, I think the majority...
First of all, is it going to happen? Because of what I'm saying. The inevitability of it based on those two examples.
But I think the mutually assured destruction of the nukes keeps us from that. I think
not even close, bud. To borrow it fucking from the Breakfast Club. Not even close, bud.
I would say this.
People are fucking stupid.
I would say this. Everybody the Pentagon's preparing for war with China. Right. I mean, we have been for a long time.
They're putting Muslims in proxy war.
Don't you think it'll be a proxy war?
Because the Chinese are putting these poor Muslim kids in fucking concentration camps right now. There's a whole indigenous group. These Chinese are so fucking godless.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a bad way.
Right.
I'm getting carried away here. I don't mean everyone.
Yeah, maybe we should edit out.
But no, because I'm agnostic. But I'm just saying, like, something very nefarious is happening over there, where there is this sort of, you see the beginnings of like these concentration camps happening.
Yeah.
And it's happening.
Yeah.
And this is something we saw happen in the 40s. And it's like the internet is just swelling everyone. It's bringing out the lowest common denominator of people's passions.
Listen, my father, who has, I'm not lying, I think he got through 9th grade. My dad, was doing, really didn't set himself up at all. Not the brightest guy in the world.
But he's had some hot days at the horse track.
He's had some hot days at the horse track. And my mother was fucking hot when she was young, and he scooped her up.
She was
good for him, Dad.
piece.
But what he said, I'll never forget this, 2009, I started comedy, whatever. Twitter comes out, we're talking, and my dad goes, you see this new thing, this Twitter thing? He's like, do you have one? And I was like, no, I got to get one though. All comedians have it. He goes, it's going to be a big mistake for the people in the country. And I was like, why? He's like, because not everyone's supposed to be heard from.
Yeah,
not everybody's supposed to have a voice.
He
goes, think about how much shit happens if you get up in front of a crowded cafeteria, everybody's talking, nobody's listening. He said, so this is going to be the biggest problem our country ever had, is this Twitter shit. And he's kind of not wrong right now.
Absolutely right.
And that's a guy who has a 9th grade education.
Yeah.
I had a mentor in college, Professor Smith, one of the wisest people I've ever had at the American University where I was educated. My alma mater, which is Latin for other mother.
And he was eating kids on Epstein's Island.
No, he was not. But he said the one thing, I'll never forget, he says, comfort corrupts.
Yep.
It's what it is.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. Doesn't matter what your how you were brought up, you have to constantly guard yourself against the corruption of comforts. And people just don't have the energy or the willpower to consistently check in on that. So what I'm basically saying is we were designed to fail. We're at the end. We've climbed up the mountain, but we are Sisyphus. The rock will fall on us. We've made it to the end. We're not going to another solar system. We're not going to another fucking habitable planet. The habitable planets are 300 million light years away. We're sucking all the resources out of the earth, and it's going to shuffle things around in a way that's going to hurt us, because nature does not like imbalance, and that's just written. It's fate. We're going to go away.
But you know
cockroaches and rats will evolve next.
I feel like there's an island bar, some island paradise we don't know exists, and somebody's saying that exact thing, and Jeffrey Epstein's just sitting there with a glass of rum going, life will find a way. You know
he's
what
dead
I mean?
now. He's dead now.
Allegedly, he's dead.
I mean, who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, show me a body, right?
Who knows? There's another, I'm sure there's, that's the other thing. We'll just never know.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's why conspiracies are ultimately frustrating and they just don't lead anywhere, because you're never going to know unless you're on the inside.
Right.
People don't know anything about comedy. I always explain this to Ben. I'm like, nobody knows what the green room of the store is like, or the back table of the cellar. And by the way, we all know what it's like, and we're all like, huh?
Why would you want to know?
But here's the thing, because to them it's magic.
Yeah.
To them it's magic.
It's not.
It's not. Of course
Everyone's
it's not.
sitting in silence.
But we know.
Yeah.
But we know.
Yeah.
Now, there's two ways to experience anything, from the outside or the inside. Both have their benefits. Being on the inside, you know what it really is.
Being on the outside, you have your idea of what it really is. Being on the inside, you have no more illusions about what it is. On the outside, you have all illusions about what it is. They both have their benefits. When you look at this stuff, so many of the decisions that are being made in our world are being made at 30,000 feet. We just don't know what's going on. We can make jokes, we can read books, we can have ideas, but we don't really know the thought process or what goes into this. And our own little corner of the world, which is entertainment, most people look at the entertainment business and for whatever reason, they think they have an idea of how it works and they just don't.
And you could see in entertainment, especially in New York or LA, but I can comment on New York. I live here. Even the things that are massive, a year ago, Me Too, massive movement. I was at Giannis's
by the way, massive movement on the island of Manhattan. You go to Long Island, they're going Me Too. What?
No, that's what I was just going to say. When I was at Giannis's,
it's a sushi restaurant.
Right. When I was at Giannis's engagement party, I was talking to one of his wife's lovely friends trying to have sex with her.
Right.
And she's a Long Island
Republicans out
She's
there.
a Long Island school teacher, and I said something. I said I was talking to. She goes, "Oh, my favorite comedian is Louis," and I was like, "Wow, you don't see a lot of women saying that these days because of the Me Too stuff." She's like, "What's that?" And I said, "What do you mean, what's that?" And then she started asking her friends, and she goes, "What's the Me Too? What did Louis do?" And this was months after, and you're like, "What?" And it's like, yeah, because most people don't care. Even Louis himself, I heard him speaking. Even Louis himself had said, in the beginning of last year, he would be on the train and people would be talking, commenting, "Oh, you fucking pig, you're a rapist." Shit, that's crazy. He's not accused of any of that.
Right.
But now, because of all how things go in cycles or whatever, now people are like, he'll be on the train and he said people would be like, "Oh, what happened to you was unfortunate. I can't believe society treats you this way. I'm coming to your show." And he's back. He's going to be back selling tickets again because it's all just these extreme movements.
In closing, what do you think? Because this is an interesting question about Louis. How do you think he's on a theater tour now?
Well, no, he's doing the Dayton Funny Bone.
Okay.
So
he's not doing theaters.
Not yet, but he can do them. It's just he's got to wait till some of this sting comes out of the theaters not wanting to be seen booking him. He could sell at Madison Square Garden right now.
Listen, people need people need to grow up. We need to become adults again.
Yeah.
We're living in this period of extended youth.
Yeah.
Everyone's acting like a child.
So how does that happen?
That's what I.
So
people delay
how do they grow
the
up?
amenities of modernity.
I know, but
the
how do you get rid of
corruption
them?
of comfort.
I know, but how if
You tune into the Tim Dillon fucking show,
Well, listen,
and
we
you
all-
take your fucking medicine
we
like
all know-
a fucking man.
We all know that.
That's how you change.
But if you had if you literally, I'm giving you the reins right now. You're
Yeah.
the president of the United States.
Yes.
Let's
First of all, the Chinese are going back into internment camps.
Because if you're the president, I'm your first lady.
Yeah, you are.
So
that's a joke, people. I'm joking.
You're the
Yeah.
president.
Yeah.
Instead of before you intern the Chinese, which I'm not necessarily against.
Yeah.
At least I could afford some condos.
What do
again.
you do? What do you have? A big speech? You go out and tell everybody they're in trouble? What do you literally do?
Yeah, I start with some sort of speech about nature.
Yeah.
I want to remind people that being detached from the reality of nature is a luxury but an illusion.
How do you think that plays in an Applebee's in Tulsa?
Well, I'm going in with armed guns.
Okay.
So you're watching and you're agreeing.
Right.
This is not a choice.
Right.
No, you said I'm going in president. First of all,
Yeah.
I'm doing a hostile takeover. It's a
Right.
coup.
Right.
When I get in, I'm making an alignment with I'm doing it like Batman. I'm taking full power, but I'm giving it away at the end.
Right.
Yeah, like
because I'm a
Bane.
principled guy.
I like that.
I'm a Greek kid.
I like that. A coup, and then you give a nice speech about nature.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
A coup, and then a speech
a
about
coup,
nature.
And then my speech is like, I want you to go look at this thing that we're a part of.
Right.
It's very easy to get detached because of the amenities of modernity. The comforts provide you this illusion that we're not part of nature. The laws of nature need to be obeyed. And our principles and our laws of governance need to be in accordance with nature. We're a little out of whack. Everyone's gotten a little spoiled. We need a little perspective. Here's why, and here's what I'm basing my perspective on. It's called nature.
Right.
Worship what you want, think what you want, but this is a system that was created based in nature. People are free for the pursuit of happiness, not guaranteed. There's no such thing as equality. There's equality under the law.
Right.
Men and women are not the same.
Right.
They can be the same, but that's the exception, not the rule. Men compete over here, women compete over here.
Right.
Eventually, hopefully, I'm so pro-trans, trans people should compete over here. And
Right.
that's what it is. We're not equal. It's not fair for a woman who transitioned a year ago to be competing against girls and dominating. That's not fair. Trans women are trans women, and that's a beautiful thing. It doesn't mean they're women. Okay? So call it what you want. I'll give you control of the semantics, but stop trying to say they're the same because they're not. Because then they start competing in the same leagues, and that's not fair. It also is not fair to women because it defines that out of existence. That's not fair. It's anti-feminist. So I'd start with a couple of points like that, and then I'd bring out the guns and kill whoever disagreed.
I would say we're not changing a thing, but everybody's getting a coupon for Popeye's chicken sandwich.
Wow.
And a cruise.
That's why you're going to be my secretary of fucking bullshit.
Cruise. Everybody gets a cruise because I get right out and I go, listen, hey, boomers, here's the reality. We could try to remake society in the image of nature, or we could all get on a big boat with a 24-hour buffet and go to a little island in Mexico where slaves will bring you pina coladas. And they're just going to go, hey, faggot, where's the boat? Where can people find you guys? Where can they find
Hyenas.
you?
History Hyenas, where the great Tim Dillon is a friend of. Whenever he's in town, we want him on.
Yes.
We go, by the way, we need to redo the podcast game right here in New York City where everything starts.
Yes,
this
not gonna
episode
happen.
is available on our joint Patreon for $5,000.
HistoryHyenas.com, Patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys, and on Patreon.com.
The revolution is not coming. New York is a tired old tramp, and I'll tell you right now,
Right.
The comedy scene here, I love all of you guys. It's just limping along.
We'll be in Los Angeles January 12th to the 16th.
It's just limping along right now because it's in love with the past.
Yes.
It's in love with the past.
You're forgetting a little tool we have in our back pocket called Führer Andrew Schultz.
That's what I was going to say.
That's your hope. By the way, that's your only hope.
Yeah,
Obi-Wan Kenobi, you
and
are my only hope.
And that's right. Amongst, we're following the guidance and the tutelage of our Führer, Andrew Schultz. If you go to patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys right now, the $1 million tier will get you the secret Tim Dillon episode that we never recorded.
If you want to pay $1 million, we're going to put out the episode that me, Chris, and Giannis recorded where we just went a little wild.
Yeah.
And $1 million.
We will split it with you 500
3 ways.
I appreciate
James
it.
Altucher, if you're listening,
Hey,
we're talking to you, bud.
James Altucher, this is for you. I'm doing his
And
podcast
this is
tomorrow
not a
at
joke.
11 a.m.
This is not a joke. We are putting up
For $1 million.
the unairable Tim Dillon episode, the infamous Tim Dillon episode for $1 million on patreon.com/Bay
$1
Ridge
million,
Boys.
patreon.com. You can hear us go a little wild.
crazy.
It's a lot of wild. Think about what we won't put out because we put out a lot of stuff. So
I don't want
imagine
this going out.
I know. Nobody wants anything going out. If Giannis had his way, we'd just podcast and nothing would go out.
Yeah.
But the reality is, this is going out. What world do you think? You think Jenny Slate's calling you up to fucking collab?
No,
You think
it's not going to happen.
Jenny Slate would be like, hey, can you get me like a chicken parmesan hero, please?
I think she's very funny, by the way. I just
She
was
thinks
confused.
you're yes.
I was
You
confused by
think
this
she's very
special.
funny. She thinks you're a Postmate.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy. I love her too. We all love her, and she'd walk over at dead bodies. I respect the hell out of it. By the way.
Yeah.
I respect that. I respect it 100%.
Yeah.
And God bless her. She's doing great, and it is what it is. There is no loyalty. Here's the deal. When the Gillis thing happened, and you had everybody that didn't even know Shane throwing him under the bus.
Yeah.
There was no loyalty amongst comics. Now, that saddens me. I don't like that that's the case, but that is the fucking case. So anybody who's talking about loyalty or
Sure, it's bullshit.
Honor codes, they're all full of shit. It's just not true. Everybody kind of throws everybody else under the bus.
Yep.
And stuff. I was one of the only people defending Shane. You were. And by the way, I'm including his close friends weren't defending him. So the reality of the situation is it just is.
Here's all you need to know about entertainment and where it's at and where the world is at. Here's what you need to know. Shane Gillis, was dropped by his agents, UTA. Jussie Smollett was not.
Correct.
That's all you need to know. That's all you need
Jussie
to know where
Smollett,
you are.
Who used police resources to
Yep.
investigate a bogus hate crime. And by the way, there were 2 guys that had been picked up for some drunk whatever. Jussie Smollett probably would have fingered them and they would have been in jail, like 2 innocent guys. So a truly evil human being. He was not dropped by UTA, but Shane was. So that's where we're at. And a lot of comedians went to go speak out about how inappropriate Shane was when they had said things that were absolutely worse.
Ridiculous.
So it is just a hypocritical group of people.
And anytime I hear that word loyalty from a manager, from an agent, from anybody, I couldn't want to get further away from you because it ain't true, baby.
It's not
and
true.
I'm aware of it.
It's
and
not
this game
true.
is up. This jig is up.
It's also crazy to think that what we just did on this podcast is anything more than entertainment.
Right.
You do understand we're professional comedians. If there's a journalist listening to this right now, you do understand that we're comedians. We don't carry.
By the way, there's no journalists listening.
Yeah, whatever fucking idiot is who thinks he writes for a career, who
Right.
may be listening to this, to hold our feet to the fire for anything that we're saying. This is a podcast by comedians. We are entertainers.
Right.
We don't hold any power, any positions of power, and we
Nope.
don't seek it. We're seeking to entertain you, to give you something to do while you're killing time for dying.
Right,
You're here
right.
waiting to die, and we're making that a little less painful by providing you with some fucking entertainment, and that's where it ends.
Yeah, I'm not running for public office, so anything I say on this podcast, you're joking. It's entertainment. It's like you're watching a
It's a
fucking
And
movie.
here's the other thing.
It's a character
I
piece.
am running for public office, by the way, because I truly believe now, why not? I think, why not?
Why not?
Why not?
I mean, look.
If we're gonna if it's all over anyway, I will go right, and I know exactly where I'm gonna go. It's a little district called Long Island, New York, because I know what to say to win.
Yeah.
I will say we are going to have a vote in a bar. We're going to vote if we can smoke in the bar.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
We're not going to worry about the employees of the bar having to inhale secondhand smoke. They should have made better
Yeah.
choices. Am I right, Bob?
Yeah.
Libby?
Yeah.
Correct.
The rallies on 9/11 at Mulcahy's in Belmore.
Yeah. 9/11, right. 9/11, you get to commit one hate crime. A
Yeah, it's like
nonviolent
the
hate
purge.
crime.
Yeah.
It's a nonviolent hate crime. The 9/11, you could put you could rip someone's hijab off. It can't be violent though. Or you could spray a swastika on a McDonald's. Whatever it is, you get to do one nonviolent hate crime on 9/11. This is how I'm going to get elected in Long Island. Furthermore, DWEs, the new DWE law is if you can state your full name, first, middle, and last, and it matches your ID, you are not too drunk to drive. You're absolutely fine.
Good.
Get right back in that car and you do what you need to do.
Good.
We can't be precious about worrying about life in every single person.
No.
The other thing is, there's got to be an acknowledgement, and Long Island people understand this. There's just got to be an acknowledgement that on the Long Island Railroad, there are no laws. So the laws of man do not come into the Long Island Railroad. When those doors close, we're back to the Colosseum in ancient Rome.
Yep.
Blood, first blood
Yep.
is the law of the land.
Yep.
That's it.
I love it.
And that's how I'm going to
You got my vote.
Go to History Hyenas, support their Patreon, Tim Dillon Show, TimDillonComedy.com. Dates coming up, Magoobies, Austin, Texas, at Cap City, fun stuff coming up in Toronto, House of Comedy in Minneapolis, Arizona, blah, blah, blah. A lot of fun. We're up in Vancouver. We're in Toronto, TimDillonComedy.com. All those links, all those tickets. Fun stuff. Megan McCain shirt coming. Thanks to everybody who bought our other shirt. We're designing a Megan McCain shirt. Might take a while. And it's interesting. Somebody was with her the other night, and she's not a fan. She did not like that I called her fat, by the way. I said so many worse things.
What
But
can you do?
what are you going to do? Thanks to the History Hyenas, and goodbye.